Broadcast permission for the following program is made possible by the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall, your host, and I'm going to throw you a curve in time. Have you ever heard of the arrow of time? That's a concept which says that time can only move forward, like an arrow. Another theory claims that the arrow of time has two heads and can move either forward or backward. A third theory says that time is eternal. In other words, the past, the present, and the future have always and will always exist together. That appeals to me. It gives me a feeling of security. But sometimes I wonder what would happen if technology started monkeying around with time and got the past and the future mixed up with each other.
215-847-1291 to Master Control Computer.
Queen, John, human.
Yes. Calling computer from the 20th century. You've sent me back to the wrong time.
What is your time?
Somewhere in the 1970s.
That was programmed.
You fool! I was programmed to be sent back to the United States of the 1970s as it really was, as it really existed historically. Understand?
Understood.
You've goofed. I'm in the States as this country might have been if we'd lost the war with Japan and been occupied in 1950. Get me out of here!
Our mystery drama, FutureEye, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Alfred Bester and stars Tony Roberts. What will the world be like 1,000 years from now? Well, I can tell you many things, but just now I'm most interested in the Master Control Computer. Don't let the name make you think that it's a mechanical dictator. Actually, it's the servant of all. It banks for all, shops for all, takes messages for all, remembers for all, does every chore that the perfect servant would do. But it's only a machine and therefore not perfect. Parts wear out, parts short circuit, and then the machine makes mistakes.
215-847-1291.
Identity?
Why do you always ask for my identity? You're a fairly bright computer. You ought to know who you're calling.
These are the parameters of my programming. Identity?
Identify me as Quinn.
Quinn, John, 215-847-1291. Human.
I hope so.
Caucasian?
Hey, that's a curve from Master Control. I wonder what you're up to. Yes, Caucasian.
Height, 2 meters.
Curiouser and curiouser. Yes.
Weight, 85 kilograms.
Give or take a few grams.
You are of average appearance.
I suppose so.
For the 20th century?
The 20th century? 1,000 years ago?
1,000 years ago.
Well, I'm a little big for then. About the size of a defensive tackle. But I could pass.
You are an antiquarian by hobby.
Well, yes, I like to know all about the old times and how they operated.
You are Chief Intelligence Officer for your sector by profession.
You know that.
A mistake has been made.
Oh?
By the Mark 747 Digital Binary Master Control Computer.
Meaning yourself?
Yes.
Well, then why call me?
Because the mistake must now be rectified.
By who? As if I didn't know.
by you as Chief Intelligence Officer.
What must be rectified?
The data bank for the year 2976 was transferred by dysfunction to the Time Control Unit, and by further dysfunction sent back in time to the year 1976.
Back to 1976? Talk about mistakes.
The dysfunction has been rectified.
What a mess. If anybody back there gets hold of the data bank for 2976 and reads it and acts on it, good Lord, our entire history may be changed. We may stop existing. We may change into the parallel possibles, ghosts of what might have been.
That must be prevented. Survival and self-defense has been programmed into the Mach Digital Binary Master.
All right. Is the Time Control Unit functioning?
Functioning.
Let me get into 1976 clothes. Take about an hour. Then you'll shoot me back. Keep my Angstrom band open as a hotline. I'll patch into any of the communications networks, telephone, telegraph, radio, back then, and keep in touch. 215-847-1291 to Master Control and soar as hell. You fool! You've shot me back to a ghost world. There's nobody left alive.
The data is being filed.
Everything's still standing, including this phone booth, but there isn't a sign of life. They must have killed themselves off with radioactive fallout.
The disaster is filed.
Good. Now, get me the devil out of here and have Time Control switch me to the real 1976. Excuse me, ma'am.
Hey, man. You like talk, Yank?
Excuse me, I can't understand you, lady. Would you please turn your radio down?
Oh, sure. Hear me now?
Thanks. Yes.
You like talk, Yank?
Well, I can talk most of the dead languages.
Oh, you smart educate. Who smart you up?
Oh, why, me, mostly. I wanted to ask you...
Who on you, man? Who you boss?
Who's my boss?
Who own you, Yank?
Own me? No one. Listen, I'd like to...
You funny, Yank. Very funny. Who you?
Who, me? Oh, identify me as Quinn. John Quinn.
Got two name? Oh, no. You do not fool Sono. No, Yank. Got two name? What name you boss? Who own you?
Well, your name is Sono?
Right, Yank. Sono Haku. Captain Sono Haku. You stand straight before Captain.
Of course. Straight. Attention. Captain, what happened to the moon?
What happened? Nothing.
Nothing. It's all black. It looks like an ink blot.
Oh, that happened in war back in 49. Hitler helped us set up rocket base on moon. You Yank try to A-bomb base before we J-bomb you. Too late. We got you first and take over.
May I borrow your radio for a moment?
Sure, Yank. Make you present if you please me.
Thanks.
Hey, what that funny thing you stick on wire?
That's my Angstrom band, hotline lead. That is, it's how I check in with the boss who owns me. 215-847-1291 to Master Control Computer.
Identify by name.
Oh, identify me as Quinn.
Quinn John. 215-847-1291. Human.
Control, you fool, you've goofed again. I'm in another parallel of the United States as it might have been.
Specify, please. Your data is being stored.
Dummy! Have your time control unit checked again by repair. It's shifted me to this country as it might have been if we'd lost World War II and been occupied in 1950. And I have got a hot Japanese captain breathing down my neck. Get me out of here! I'm in the projection booth of a movie drive-in, and I've patched into their sound system. Hurry up.
Checking.
They're showing something I think is called a Western. It's all about characters who gallop around on horses shooting people. It's absolutely maddening.
Coordinates filed. Criticism filed. The antiquarian bank suggests your interpretation of the film is faulty.
And good luck to them. This will be my headquarters. Make all data transmission to me here. First, I need a map of precise location where time control deposited the almanac for 2976.
Transmitting.
And don't waste time. The moment anybody here in 1976 gets hold of the data and acts on it, we'll all turn into might-have-been ghosts. Transmission received. Stand by. Yes, I see. Not exactly pinpointed, but I'll know where to zero in. Now, transmit description of data bank I must find.
Transmitting.
Transmission received. Hold on. I can't visualize this. It's a macro circuit, yes?
Yes.
Well, why is it so big?
It incorporates all known data and history up to the year 2976. The material cannot be miniaturized.
But a data bank with 6 sides. A box measuring 5 centimeters by 4 by 1.5. That's enormous.
4,000 years of history cannot be miniaturized.
Well, give me the physical description of the data bank outside of dimensions. Don't transmit, just tell.
4 sides white, 2 sides brown. Logo symbol on one white surface for random access to world history data to respond to any request for information.
Describe the logo.
It is a binary code of 1s and 0s forming a geometric shape commonly called a diamond.
Commonly called a... Oh, good Lord. I've come back 1,000 years in time to find this?
Your dismay is filed, but not understood.
Talk to your antiquarian banks. They'll explain what I'm forced to find and why it's a hopeless mission. I'm looking for the equivalent of a 1976 matchbox.
Have you got an ordinary matchbox handy? Look at it. How would you go about finding a data bank from the year 2976 that looks exactly like a matchbox in the year 1976? Ask questions? Search pockets? Impossible. This is the problem that faces Quinn John, 215-847-1291 human. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. An intelligence expert from 1,000 years in the future. A private eye who is really a FutureEye, faced with the problem of locating a data memory bank for the year 2976. A data bank that looks almost exactly like an ordinary matchbox. How is he to go about it?
215-847-1291 to Master Control.
Hey, what's happening?
Identify.
You know
Hello,
who I
hello,
am
hello.
and where I am
Hello.
and when I am.
Hello,
Parameters
testing.
of
1,
my programming must be
2,
followed.
3,
I
4,
am in the
5, 6,
projection
7,
booth of a
8,
movie
9.
drive-in,
Got me?
year 1976. Identify me as Quinn.
Quinn, John, 215-847-1291. Human.
Now look, Master Control, when anyone or anything wants access to your information banks, what do?
They make a request to me.
Yes, through programmed channels. This we all know. Then what?
I provide the information. I am programmed to serve all.
Yes, we all know that too. Just tell me how you get the information to answer the request.
I have just told you. That is the program for the information demand coder.
And how do the data banks respond?
In binary.
Yes, ones and zeros. How does the information register with you?
As audible notes, which I translate into spoken or printed data.
Audible. What does it sound like to you?
Wait, please. Such a request for information has never been made before.
Just answer in
Cranked up
nanoseconds.
channel 9, that's what happened.
Which
Let me take the
approach the
monitor out
speed of
channel.
light?
My auditory unit informs me
There we go.
that the
Yeah, it's
response
just very, very barely though. Go ahead and
sounds
talk for me.
like sonar.
Sonar. Underwater sonar?
The bleeps signify binary ones. The silences signify binary zeros. This is then translated by the Mark 747 digital binary master control computer.
All right. It's the only
What,
way.
they got the pod down too low?
Transmit to me here a duplicate of your information demand coder.
Such a request has never been made before.
We've never been in such a situation before. Can't you understand? I'm
What about
looking
what
for
about,
what amounts
Mike-
to a matchbox.
Mike 2?
I've got to
Okay, it's
home
in
in
channel. I
on it.
got it in 8.
With an information demand
I got
coder.
9 in 8.
Exactly. I broadcast
Can you
a
hear me?
demand
Hello?
with the
Hello?
coder. The
Yeah,
data
you're coming
bank,
over. Go ahead and
wherever
talk
it
some
is, will respond with a sonar sound.
Hello? Hello?
I track the
Hello?
response.
Hello?
Your tactics are being filed.
Transmit that coder
What's going on over
duplicate.
here?
Transmitting.
Transmission received. Wait a minute. I'm broadcasting the information demand. MQ. The data bank response sounds a mile away. I'm going to start tracking now. Keep the hotline open. Luck my para.
The expressions MQ and Luck My Para were not current in the 20th century.
You're right. I make these slips when I'm excited.
Even humans are entitled to make mistakes. Luck your para, Quinn. John, 215-747-1291. Human.
Hi there.
What the hell is that noise?
Oh, sorry. I've got a pocket alarm watch, and it keeps trying to tell me something. Wait. That better?
Well, it's a relief. Sounded like it was trying to climb into my pocket.
Yes, maybe it was, in a funny sort of way. Say, I've never been in a printing plant before.
Yeah?
You mind if I do a little sightseeing?
Well, help yourself. You some kind of reporter?
Well, I have been doing some reporting. Where is everybody?
Huh? What everybody?
Well, I had the idea that a printing plant would be full of printers.
You never heard of automation? We print by pure 100% automation.
I'm impressed.
You heard of computers?
Sort of.
Well, they do everything.
Oh, do they now?
Yeah. Some bright girls put stuff they type into one end of a computer, and out of this end comes books. All printed by automation.
And no printers.
Just me, the foreman.
What do you do?
I mind the press.
Can anything go wrong with it?
Well, only the usual. What could happen to anything that runs like a TV set? Blow a tube, burn out a fuse, that sort of thing.
Sounds simple.
Yeah. There's only one thing complicated. I can't let any portable radios in here.
I see. Electronic interference. Static.
Yeah, crazy. Like last year, a kid comes in with a battery set. He's a messenger. It's playing a rock tune.
Yes?
Oh, we're printing out a psalm book.
And?
Well, instead of printing Rock of Ages cleft for me, it's printing Abba-doo-ba, 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 Abba-doo-ba. Pick it up from the radio.
What's your press printing now?
Oh, just started a run for Atlantic Publishing. Atlantic Almanac.
Almanac?
Yeah, you know, latest facts and figures. Hey, what's the matter? You look pale as a ghost.
I may be a ghost soon enough. Listen, are those Atlantic almanacs being shipped out?
First batch due to go soon. 100 copies to Letterhead Bookstore. Say, you better sit down, mister.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe some fresh air. Oh, yes, a cigarette will help. Can you give me a light?
I don't smoke.
Yes, but all the same, I think you've got a match on you.
Why, by golly, you're right. Yeah, I forgot. Found a box in the lunchroom laying on the floor. Picked it up because it was so funny. Hey, look. All the ones and zeros. I wonder what they're advertising.
I sincerely hope you never find out.
Oh, you can keep them. I don't smoke.
Oh, thanks. Thanks very much. You don't know it, friend, but you've just saved my life. Almost. Quinn to master computer.
Identify.
No time for procedure. We're under the gun. The databank found and reclaimed.
Filing.
But we've run into bad luck. Before it was reclaimed, it took control of a computerized press. 100 copies of a printed almanac now containing all data up to and including the year 2976 are at large.
Location.
They have been shipped to the Letterhead Bookstore.
Filing.
I'll have to go after them and transmit them up to you.
Warning. We of the future are forbidden to take or give anything which might divert the existing time stream of 1,976 that might destroy us.
Yes, understood. I won't take the books. I'll buy them. As an antiquarian, I have 1976 currency in my pocket. Relics from a museum.
Most foresighted.
Can I help you, please?
Oh, hi. Friend of mine told me that I can get any book that's printed at the Letterhead.
Oh, that is our boast and our pride, sir.
Actually, all I want is the latest Atlantic Almanac.
Oh, certainly, sir. The Atlantics arrived a half hour ago. The stock boy just opened the carton. My, they are moving. 2 copies in 2 minutes.
2?
Yes, sir. You're the second to ask for it.
You were shipped 100 copies.
That's right. How do you know, sir?
You have a carton of 99 copies back there.
Yes, sir. One moment. I'll have the boy bring...
Tell him to bring all 99.
Sir, surely
No,
you...
I don't jest. I'll take the carton with me just as it is. All 99 copies. Give me one datum.
One what, sir?
A datum, a bit, a piece of information.
Oh, yes, sir.
Who bought that other copy?
Now, really, sir, do you expect
Who
me
bought
to divulge...
the 100th copy? Last name, first name, identity number.
Identity number?
Sorry, you don't use them in 1976. Who bought that other 1 copy? Do you know? Can you identify?
Well, as a matter of fact, I can, sir. A regular and valued customer. Mr. Oliver Wilson Knight.
Quinn, to master computer. Bypass procedure constraints.
Acknowledge and storing data.
Have you got my coordinates?
You are in your temporary headquarters in the drive-in booth.
Check and keep a fix on me at all times. I have with me 99 of the 100 copies of the 2,976 Almanac.
Filing.
Stand by to retract.
Standing by. Ready.
Pick up.
Received.
I have one last problem. The final copy of the Almanac.
One copy is as dangerous as 1,000.
Yes, and don't I know it. The last copy is in the possession of an Oliver Wilson Knight. Transmit all available historical data and information about the subject.
If available. Information being demanded by coder.
Were you programmed for prayer?
All known forms of prayer are filed.
Then pray. He may be reading that book this minute, and we'll all be gone. This is desperate.
Information available.
Transmit. Received. Let me go through this material. It's quite a dossier. It's tricky now because I'm no longer coping with machines. I've got to handle a human being.
The human in the bookstore was a human being.
No, not really. He was functioning as a salesman.
I will consult the antiquarian bank.
Don't bother. Now I'm dealing with a human being on a one-to-one basis. He's not a salesman. Suppose he refuses to sell me that almanac.
We are forbidden to take anything that might alter the existing time stream.
As well I know. It must be a free exchange. Force cannot be used. Deception cannot be used. Honesty must be observed. Wait a minute. Yes, here's something that might do the trick. Yes. Instructions.
Your instructions are being filed.
I want you to locate and transmit a very special $100 bill.
One man in the city owns an almanac for the year 2976. An almanac from the future. It cannot be taken from him. It cannot be stolen from him. But he must never look into that book, or an entire future will turn into a might-have-been ghost. How can a very special $100 bill solve an impossible situation? Act 3 will tell us in a few moments. Almost everybody in town knows Dan Macy's Pub. It's more or less an informal club where you can drop in for a drink or a sandwich or a soda and always find congeniality and conversation. Mr. Macy knew all his regular customers and had learned to like them. But this stranger fills him with vague fear. He's a big man, about the size of a defensive tackle, and he has a strange way of speaking.
Mr. Macy, this is a quiet time for you. I will rent this back room of your pub for 1 hour.
You're renting the back room for 1 hour?
And that will include exclusive use, yes?
You talk funny. You're a foreigner.
No, not foreign in your sense.
What's your name?
Identify me as Quinn. John. Human.
John Quinn, human. Crazy. Get out of here.
I will pay $100 for exclusive use of this back room for 1 hour.
$100?
Yes. Here. Look. $100 bill, including portrait of Benjamin Franklin, American statesman, diplomat, author, scientist, and inventor, 1706 to 1790.
You're a crazy Russian spy.
Spy? Yes. Russian? No.
What kind of a spy?
I am a FutureEye.
What?
Slip of the tongue. I am a private eye, an investigator. Take the money and go, Mr. Macy. I have a private call to make.
Phone booth alongside men's room.
Yes, I see it. Go. I am under time pressure.
You want anything from the kitchen or the bar?
Thank you. Not now, Mr. Macy. Perhaps my guests. Quinn, John, 215-847-1291. To master computer.
I have lost the trace on you. You move too rapidly.
Coordinates. West, 73-58-15. North, 40-45-20.
Filing.
Well, what's happened to your nanoseconds?
Probability 99.9807.
MQ. Stand by. He's coming in. Probability fulfilled. Oliver Wilson Knight in contact. Out.
Sorry, Mr. Knight. You and the young lady can't sit back here this afternoon. I'm sorry. The premises have been rented.
Rented?
Oh, what a shame.
Yes, it's quite all right, Mr. Macy. It's all correct and in order. I'm happy to entertain Mr. Knight and friend as my guests. Do sit down.
We hate to intrude, but this is the only place in town where you can get real old-fashioned ginger beer.
Already aware of the fact, Miss Clinton. Mr. Macy, bring ginger beer, please, and leave us alone. No other guests. These are all I'm expecting.
Hey, wait a minute. What do you mean, guest?
You know me, Mr.
Quinn. Yes, of course I know you. You are Miss Jane Clinton. This is Mr. Oliver Wilson Knight. I rented these premises particularly to meet you this afternoon.
If this is your idea of comedy, brother, I don't particularly...
Here comes Mr. Macy with your ginger beer. Wait, please. This conversation must be private.
Will that be all?
For now, yes, you may go.
And don't I want her? Talk about nuts.
But you couldn't know we were coming here, Mr. Quinn. We didn't know ourselves until a few minutes ago.
I'm sorry to contradict, Miss Clinton. Our data predicted your probability of arrival at longitude 73-58-15, latitude 40-45-20 as being 99.9807%. No one can escape 4 significant figures.
Your data?
Listen, clown, if this is your idea of some kind of...
Kindly drink your ginger beer and listen to my idea, Mr. Knight. Listen carefully. You have, quite innocently, placed us in an extremely dangerous position. I have been sent to find a solution.
Solution? For what?
Oliver, I think we'd better be going.
Oh, please remain seated, Miss Clinton. There will be no harm. Mr. Knight, this noon, you entered the premises of the Letterhead Bookstore, Incorporated, dealer in printed books. You purchased, through the transfer of current money, 4 books. The 4 books wrapped in the parcel you are carrying.
So?
Well, 3 of the books do not matter, but the 4th, well, that is the crux of this encounter.
What the devil are you talking about?
1 bound volume consisting of collected facts and statistics.
You mean the almanac? What about it?
You intended to purchase the 1976 almanac.
I bought the 1976 almanac.
You did not. You bought the almanac for $2,976.
What?
The Atlantic Almanac for the year 2976 is in this package. Do not ask how. There was a dysfunction that has already been adjusted. There were many difficult complications. That is why I'm here. It is why this meeting has been arranged. You cognate?
Hand me the package, Jane. We'll call this clown's bluff.
No, you must not open it, Mr. Knight. You must not read the book.
All right. What's the payoff on the gag?
I must have the book, Mr. Knight. I would like to walk out of this tavern with the almanac under my arm.
Oh, you would, huh?
I would.
Well, if there was such a thing as a 2,976 almanac, and if it was in that package, wild horses couldn't get it away from me.
Yes? Why, Mr. Knight?
Are you kidding? A look into the future, stock market reports, horse races, politics. It'd be money from home. I'd be rich.
Yes, indeed, yes. You'd be more than rich. Omnipotent. almost the ruler of the world.
Oh, you tell me.
The small mind would use the almanac from the future for small things only. Bets and wagers and so on. The intellect of dimensions, your intellect, would not stop there.
Oh, tell me more.
Each fact would tell you an entire history. Real estate investment, what lands to buy and sell, transportation records, what space agencies to back, postal receipts to tell you the cities of the future. Nobel Prize winners would tell you what inventions and developments to watch. It would be impossible for you to lose.
That's the idea. That's for me.
You really think so?
I know so. Money in my pocket.
There is no joy in success as something which has not been earned.
Oh, I disagree.
Do you? Then why do you work? Why not steal? Cheat others to fill your own pockets.
Well, but
The point is well taken, huh? No, Mr. Knight. Seek a mature argument. You are too ambitious and healthy to wish to steal success.
Then I just want to know if I would be successful.
Ah, Stet. You want reassurance. Why? Have you no confidence in yourself? You're a promising young attorney? Yes, I know that. It is part of your dossier. Has not Miss Clinton confidence in you?
Yes, I do. He doesn't need reassurance from a book.
Good. So, Mr. Knight, next argument.
Security.
There is no such thing. Life is danger.
Oh, come on, you know what I mean. The knowledge that life is worth planning.
True, your century is in crisis. But then I am here. The world will continue. I'm proof.
If I believe you.
And if you do not, you do not lack security. You lack courage.
Now, look, this is a gag, isn't it? I saw that book before it was wrapped. It said 1976 on the cover.
The cover? Ah, contemporary. Yes. The printed text, no. Inside is 1,000 years of future which must not be read by anyone. I implore you to give me that almanac.
Why don't you just take it away from me?
Well, that is forbidden. It must be a free gift. We can rob you of nothing. We can give you nothing.
That's a lie. You paid Macy to rent this back room.
Yes, Macy was paid, but I gave him nothing. He will think he was cheated, but you will see to it that he is not. All will be adjusted without dislocation and the danger ended.
Now, wait just a minute.
It has all been carefully planned. I have gambled on you, Mr. Knight. I am depending on your good sense. Let me have the almanac. I will disband, reorient it, and you will never see me again. It will be an odd adventure to narrate for your friends, and they will not believe you.
Would you wait a minute, for Pete's sake? Don't overpower me. This is supposed to be a gag.
Is it? Is it? All right, the final gamble. Where's that music machine?
Over there, against the wall. It's called a jukebox.
Yes, the thing with the lights. Watch this. $215-847-1291 to master computer. Follow procedure.
Identify.
Identify me as Quinn.
Quinn. John. 215-847-1291. Human.
Mission approaching climax.
Filing.
Is this a gag, Mr. Knight?
Good Lord, this can't be happening. Jane, he's got me believing.
Yes.
Well, what should we do? If everything he says is true, look, we can refuse and live happily ever after.
No.
No?
There may be money and success in that book, but there's divorce and death, too. Oh, Oliver, give him the almanac.
All right, take it.
My gratitude. You have eased a precarious situation. It is only fair that you should receive something in return. I had thought to bribe you with it, but now it is a gift. A token of the future. My service to you both. You have given me back my life.
Hey, that gift, that token of the future.
Mr. Macy has it.
Talk about characters.
Oh, he really had me scared.
What an act. I wonder how he pulled that trick with the jukebox.
He's probably a TV repairman.
But, honey, it doesn't make sense, all that nonsense about paying Macy but not giving him anything.
Hey, where is he? Where's the thief?
Mr. Macy, what's the matter?
He's gone.
And you, Mr. Knight. You, to be a party to thievery and racketeers, you ought to be disbarred. Shame on you.
Wait, what is all this?
What's wrong?
He paid me $100 to rent this back room. $100. I took the bill over to Bernie, the pawnbroker, being cautious like, and he found out it's a forgery. Counterfeit. Phony. Not worth nothing.
Oh, no. Counterfeit?
How could you do a thing like this to me, Mr. Knight?
Do what?
Look at it.
Well, now, wait. Well, it looks like a perfectly genuine $100 bill to me, Mr. Macy. What gave you the idea that it's a counterfeit? Oh, good Lord.
What is it?
Where's my checkbook? Here. Jane, let me have your pen.
What are you doing?
Making sure that Macy isn't cheated. Look, Mr. Macy, you'll get your $100.
Oliver, are you insane? Throwing away $100 because a clown played a practical joke?
And I won't be losing anything either. All will be adjusted without dislocation. Oh, they're diabolical. Diabolical.
What are you talking about, Oliver?
Look at the bill. Look closely.
Oh, I'm looking.
Uh-huh. You see anything odd?
Well, I don't know. I've never seen a $100 bill before, Oliver.
Look at the lower right-hand corner, Jane. Read what you see.
Series 1990D. Signed Oliver Wilson Knight, Secretary of the Treasury.
I must agree. Quinn John 215-847-1291 human has been diabolically clever. A $100 bill has been brought in time, but it can't be spent yet. Mr. Macy has been paid and loses nothing. Oliver Knight will lose nothing because the bill will become valid. All has been adjusted without dislocating the time stream. But was it wise to give Oliver Knight that token of his future? I'll be back shortly. It's only human to want to know what the future holds in store for us, which is why fortune-telling has always been enjoyed and sometimes believed through the ages. But I have a thought for you. It has been said by philosophers that if we don't learn from our past, we may be forced to repeat it. But what about the future? It may be that if we do learn about our future, we may never live it. We present these tales complete with warnings and morals 7 times each week. Our cast included Tony Roberts, Evie Juster, Court Benson, William Redfield, and Catherine Butterfield. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
When the colonel called on Sheriff Thomas for an escort for the stage, Chip had nobody to spare. That's how come I got called in.
But I thought you said, Wayne, the colonel had an army escort with him.
Well, he did till he took sick, and they had to report back. I wanted you to stay on back in San Antone, but you were so doggone stubborn.
Yeah, I told Wade he might just well give in. But just to give us a little extra protection, I figured we didn't want to be seen loading no strongbox.
So, like they say in the Army, we commandeered your trunk.
Yeah.
I still don't see any need for all that fuss. Nobody knows about the money except us and the colonel, do they?
Well, these days you never can...
What was that?
Somebody hit the man riding shotgun. Trouble.
Plenty. Look ahead at the draw there. Seems like we run right smack into a holdup.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding program was broadcast with the permission of the Columbia Broadcasting System. Broadcast permission for the following program is made possible by the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. I have a special treat for you. An unforgettable voyage to the islands of Kalea. Where are they? No, don't look for them on any ordinary map. They exist only in the gyrus hippocampi. And that is located... Well, that's what this story is all about.
Werner, is he alive?
The body? That is dross. We will burn it as we do the animals in the crematorium. The brain, that is something else. And it is doing well. Now the fight is first to keep it alive.
And second?
Each thing in its own time. Isn't it enough that, for the moment, we have created a miracle?
Our mystery drama, The Brain Without Mercy, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Norman Rose. Across the southwestern portion of Texas, near the border with Mexico, a smallish two-engine Canadian de Havilland is flying about 2,000 feet and slowly descending. It is the last leg in a long and perilous journey for its two pilots and the three passengers who have been held as hostage. A dark-complexioned man with a Thomas machine gun at the ready and strapped into a parachute keeps a close watch on his terrified fellow passengers. In a large suitcase beside him is $2 million in small, unmarked bills. This is the end of a 3-day headline story which has kept most of the country on the edge of their seats.
Okay. Bring her down some more and cut back on the throttle. Hey, you compadres, move up towards the cockpit. Okay. Hold your hats. I'm going to open the door. And this is where your friendly hijacker bids you goodbye. Don't make any crazy moves. Just leave that up to me. Hasta la vista! 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Okay. First parachute. 11, 12. Beautiful. 15, 16, 17. A little more to the right. So I hit my spot. 20. And here goes number 2. What the devil? Ring broke right off. Where is that emergency? Carrying too much weight. I ought to jettison something, but not the money, not the dough. Damn, it can't have been all for nothing.
Gently, Willie, gently. We have a precious cargo.
It ain't me, Doctor. Them bumps is on the road.
I realize. Perhaps we should have the headlights.
It ain't that, Doc. But you're the boss. Whatever you ask. How's that?
Strange time of day, twilight. Can't even see the lights go on. I'm glad you're driving instead. Willie, what is that on the road?
Appears like some fella passed himself out on the edge of the road. Some foreigner maybe had too much snake juice.
Don't stop.
Might be he needs help. You're a doc.
Oh, very well. Let's have a look.
8, 3, Cross back. Need help.
Who are you? What do you mean you hit a tree?
Money. Had to hold on to so much money. Whole trouble. $2 million. Make a man crazy. I can't.
Doctor, he cash in his chips?
No, he's still alive.
You got the place. You and Mrs. Doctor could maybe keep him alive like the animals.
What?
The way you make it so nobody dies. I mean, dogs, sheep, and all like that.
Willie, get the big blanket out of the pickup. You and I will have to roll it under this man and take him back to the clinic. You must take it very slowly now, Willie. If that man is to stay alive, we must proceed as smoothly as possible.
Sure, Doctor.
He has suffered injuries I cannot understand. Massive internal dislocation and severe compression of the spine.
The doctor said it's going to rain something awful. We might not make the ford.
Not that I do not believe your instincts, Willie, but let's just check on the radio, huh? And remember the word, Willie. Langsam. Slowly and
a low-pressure area that forecasts storms and violent rains down through the south and on into Texas, as far south as Mexico. And now, a further update on the man who has been dubbed the Texas Stranger. For 3 days, he has played out his wild drama, starting with a skyjack of a Universal plane bound for New Orleans. Since then, the man has held out for a $2 million payment as he skyhopped around the southern portion of the U.S., a payment which was finally made and delivered as he transferred to a small plane over Texas, still holding 3 major bank officials as hostage. Now, word has just been received that somewhere over the south of Texas, this daring bandit, tentatively identified as Miguel Riveras, parachuted out of a plane carrying with him $2 million in unmarked bills. It is expected that the bandit hopes to escape to Mexico. But in the meanwhile, every agency, government...
turn it off, Willie.
Yes, Doctor. But why'd you want to do that? I wanted to hear more about them rains and the weather.
Forget the weather. Drive as fast as you can, Willie. We must get home. I will need you, Ilsa. We will have to operate right away.
On our new guest, Werner?
The man we picked up, yes.
Not for the experiments.
Oh, no. This is to save his life. He's going into renal failure. Both kidneys are destroyed.
We have no transplants. What shall we operate for?
The greatest opportunity of my life. The body of the man cannot sustain life much longer, but his brain, that is fully viable. Now, come. I need your help. We have much preparation to make.
Have you reported about this man to the authorities?
No.
But it is the man.
Oh, yes. He has an identification bracelet from a paratroop division.
But you will not report him?
And lose this incredible chance to get the money we need? $2 million to complete my experiments?
But where is the money?
Only he knows.
And he's unconscious.
So I must unlock the secret from his unconscious.
How? If he's in coma and on the point of death.
With luck, I may bring him to consciousness long enough to find out what I need to know. If not...
If not, Werner, what else?
Well, the man is moribund. No way we can keep him alive. But if we arrest the degenerative process, only the kidneys are destroyed, every other vital organ in his body could be preserved by the techniques under which we have been working. Now, most important, and this is the perfect opportunity, the brain.
The brain?
We have maintained the brain of a rat, a rabbit, and more successfully cats and dogs. Why not a man's?
But the man is still alive.
The man is due to die from other causes. And besides that, he is a criminal.
We are not the judge of that.
So we are not the judge. No, Ilse, we are only the fortunate recipients of a golden chance.
But, Werner, how can you risk it? There are enough questions about your clinic already.
There are no questions about this. This man planned to disappear. I am only making sure that he will. Now, get dressed so we can scrub up. Ilsa, you and I are about to perform the most important operation in our lives. So, the perfusion machine will serve to replace his kidneys long enough for our purpose.
And the man could be kept alive, perhaps indefinitely, until a kidney donor.
Ah, Schliebchen, it is not worth the gamble. Not when we have a better game to play.
Oh, you know, what you contemplate is murder.
Technicality, not even valid. For Miguel, that is his name, we must think of him as that. Miguel will still be alive, outside his body.
Alive?
Yes. More and more, Ilsa, the definition of death is being accepted as the moment when the brain ceases to function. Miguel's brain is not going to cease to function. No, is it, Miguel? You and I, we are going to make history, no?
Werner, what are you going to do?
Well, first of all, we are going to dispose of the last remnant of man's best friend. We are going to take away the life supply of blood from the dog's brain so that we may have it available for Miguel.
Werner, I'm afraid. Do you know what you're doing?
Absolutely. I cannot save Miguel's life under the ordinary definition, but I believe I can save his brain, and I need all of your help.
Have I ever denied it to you?
No, Ilsa, no. But do not fail me now. All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Scalpel. So, left doctors. Good. Drill. Now, how is the blood pressure?
Steady. 160/80.
Better than I have any right to hope. Now, I need your hands to help put the pressure on audio so we can hear. That's it. Now, we must move as fast as possible. Wipe.
There, Liebling.
Yes. I must expose the whole brain so we can move freely.
His heart stopped.
It doesn't matter. I can switch to the heart pump now. Turn it on. Now, give me the spinal cord. Yeah, good. Now, steady, easy. We place it in the bath with the brain itself. Miguel, alive, swimming again in the primeval slime from which man came. Ilsa, you can cut off all supportive measures except the blood reservoir and the oxygen.
Is he alive?
The body? That is dross. We will burn it as we do the animal's remains in the crematorium. The brain? That is something else. And doing very well. Now, the fight is first to keep it alive.
And second?
Each thing in its own time. Isn't it enough that for the moment we have created a miracle?
You got the food ready for the Doc and Mrs. Doc, woman?
Yeah, Willie. But how long have I got to make up trays and such instead of plain sit-down meals?
I don't know.
My poor old Willie. You never know much and understand less. But what are them two doing in that old laboratory?
Oh, something mighty important.
Something with that man you drug in like he was another animal for the Doc to mess around with?
Now, Lucy, you hush up. The Doc, he knows better than the whole world what he's doing. Ain't nobody else like him.
But I ain't all so sure as you. It's all good.
You hadn't to talk like that way. He's the nearest thing to a preacher and more close to God than anyone I ever knew.
Well, most times I get the feeling that what he's doing is flying in the face of God.
That's it, Miguel. That is it. Oh, you are a good patient.
Werner.
Yes, Ilsa?
Must we watch over it day and night?
Oh, not it, Liebchen. Him. Miguel is alive and well. As long as the brain lives, the man lives.
For what reason? It is only an island of cells, floating in a protective bath like the placenta in a womb. But it cannot grow, it cannot communicate. It is only a medical trick.
Oh, not this time, Ilse, not this time. It cannot grow, perhaps, but it can remember. And if you give me time, it will communicate. With $2 million at stake, trust me, I will find a way to make it communicate, to make Miguel release his secret.
Dr. Werner Diethard, a madman or a genius? Can he really keep alive a mass of gray cells divorced from the human body, fed by machines which simulate the function of the heart? And even if he can accomplish that miracle, how can he communicate with this pulsing pearl gray organ which floats like some tropical jellyfish in its nourishing private sea? I'll return shortly with Act Two. Miguel Rivera's brain is all that is left of the man who once bore that name. The recognizable part of him, the body, is long since reduced to white ash in Dr. Diethard's private ovens, an ash now scattered to the four winds. But in another world, the more recognizable everyday one you and I inhabit, a vast network of law enforcement officials is painstakingly trying to locate Miguel and the $2 million he escaped with when he parachuted out of the plane.
Governor, we got every foot of territory he could possibly have landed on or moved to since covered. But like I say, Governor, that's wild country. And a man could hole up snug as a prairie dog or be long gone into Mexico by now, particularly since he was Spanish-speaking. Oh, no, sir, don't you worry. We're staying right on top of it.
Sheriff, you got anything new?
No, Bill, not since identification. Miguel Rivera's ex-paratrooper, U.S. Army, Vietnam veteran. No previous arrests or convictions. Just a plain guy who blew his stack and made a grab for the brass ring.
So you don't mind if I hang around? I mean, this is a big news break for me and my station.
We need all the help we can get. And you news broadcasters are not to leave.
So you figure he had Confederates waiting for him after the jump?
No, just strictly on my own hunch. I figure him for a loner.
Say, there's another thing, Sheriff, that the co-pilot mentioned.
What's that?
Well, with that submachine gun and that suitcase loaded, he was carrying a pretty heavy load for jumping.
You suggesting there was any chance he might have hurt himself landing?
Well, I don't know.
With 2 parachutes and him a paratrooper?
Like I say, it was just a thought.
Well, don't think it ain't occurred to me. That's why our helicopter's been flying so low. That reminds me. I got to put another call into that foreign doctor fella up Dreadville way. Just like to check him. Though it don't make no sense for Rivera's backtracking that way. Well, just in case he's seen or heard anything.
Well, my best guess is that he had some horses staked out. Or maybe even a jeep, so he could get away across the border.
You know, by this time, my guess is he's sheer out of this world far as we're concerned.
I really wish I could help you out, Sheriff. Rivera's, you said his name was?
That's right.
And he stole $2 million?
Doctor, don't you listen to the radio or the TV?
Oh, yes, of course. I have heard the story, but it is so unbelievable.
Well, no matter the way it sounds, you can believe it. If he escapes, he's got $2 million clear profit because there's no way those bills can be traced.
It is really incredible. Tell me, do you have any hope of finding him?
Well, he can't just have vanished into thin air.
Werner, what did the police say?
They can't trace Miguel. But the money...
They found it?
No, not yet. It means we have little time. We can't search for it with the police everywhere. We must find out from Miguel where he hid it.
Miguel?
His brain is still alive. It is only left for me to find a way to discover what his brain knows.
Yes, Lucy.
Where you going?
I gotta go help the doctor and Mrs. Doctor.
Now? This time of night? Help him do what?
I don't know. Magic kind of things.
Tell me, what are they doing in that laboratory or whatever you call it?
I don't know. But the doctor needs me. I gotta go.
Oh, Willie, I'm scared. You know what I think?
No. Why, Lucy?
I think you and me ought to cut and run while the going's good.
Now, don't lay any trouble on me, woman. I can't leave. The doctor, he needs me. And Mrs. Doctor.
And what about me?
Well, the doctor and the Mrs. Doctor is my job. They need me first.
Oh, Willie, boy. Honey, don't you know they'd be the first to shuck you off the moment they didn't need you, and I'd be the last?
You hadn't ought to think anything mean about them, Lucy. Willie just knows his place is all. You gotta know it, too.
Willie, I just know only one thing. You're my man, and I love you. And I won't ever let anybody harm you.
Now, you understand what we must do, Ilsa. The first thing is to make the brain hear.
But why? We have the electronic larynx, which we've used with sheep and dogs. All Miguel's brain must do is speak.
Well, how can it answer? How can Miguel answer if he does not hear the words?
The animals answered.
Because we induced a small measure of pain. Then they would react vocally with a bleat or with a squeak, a bark. Then it was a simplistic process, a reflex action. Now we must establish a very complex one. So, you take this microphone, and when I tell you, you will speak.
Oh, and what is the box you have on the table?
This is an interphasing device which will multiply the signal into speech patterns.
Well, shall I try it now?
No. First, we make adjustments. You can watch on the oscilloscope and see the voice grams as we hear them. All right, now. Speak softly. Say the name. Miguel. Miguel. Slowly, over and over again, while I adjust the sensitivity.
But how do you transmit it to the brain?
The same way as we do with the larynx for the return operation. Now, I must implant these electrodes in the auditory cortex. So, Ilsa, you speak, but softly, softly.
Miguel. Miguel. Miguel.
So, I have them planted.
Well, how can we tell if Miguel can hear? There is no reaction.
Of course not. The brain has no muscle. It can only reply to one electrical impulse by a responding one.
And you'll attach the electrical larynx now.
Yes. Since we know that Broca's area is specifically the seat of articulate speech. There, and I have had practice with animals, I can be more sure of this operation. The other is hit or miss. It may take time and patience to set those electrodes accurately. Now, let me have the microphone, please.
Yes, here, Werner.
Miguel. Miguel? Can you hear me?
Nothing. Does not work.
I must adjust the auditory circuit. It is very delicate. It may take a long time. A very long time.
Hi, Sheriff. You got anything new on Rivera's?
Not a glimmer.
What do you suppose he did with the parachute?
Buried him, I reckon. Well, by now we got men on foot going over every inch of that territory. You ought to pick up some trail.
The only trouble was that rainstorm.
Yeah, probably washed out any sign of that skyjacker. I can't sit here any longer at a desk. I'm getting out on the field. The man can't just have disappeared into thin air.
Miguel.
Hey, what's going on in there, Willie?
Miguel, can you hear me?
Doctor's trying to talk to that man we found. Side of the road.
But the man died, Willie. You and me burned him in the oven and scattered his ashes.
And not all of them.
What do you mean?
He kept out one part of him.
What part?
His brain. Prettiest thing. all shiny and white gray like.
Willie,
What?
you trying to tell me that brain in behind that door is alive?
That's what it is. He's been keeping it alive, too, with that old two-cycle pump I helped him build.
But if the brain is alive, that means the man was alive when they took it from him.
I reckon. What's the difference?
Well, I'll tell you what's the difference. That means that man was murdered. And if the police ever find out, we could stand to be put in jail for burning up and hiding what was left of him.
Miguel, can you hear me, Miguel?
It's no good, Werner. It won't work.
Now, patience, Ilsa, patience. We just try a new placement for the electrodes. So. Now, Miguel.
Yes. I hear.
Werner.
Here, take the microphone, Ilsa. Speak to him while I modulate. I must get it into exact phase.
Now.
Yes, now.
Miguel.
Keep on. Don't stop.
Miguel. Miguel, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Miguel?
Ask him again, Ilsa. I've almost got the setting.
Miguel, I'm talking to you. If you hear, reply.
Yes. Yes, I hear. I hear.
Give me the microphone. Miguel, you understand me?
Where am I? Who are you? What happened to me?
Now, Miguel, we must take this very easy, step by step. First, I am a doctor.
Doctor? What is this place? A hospital?
My private hospital, yes.
But where am I?
I told you, in my
I
hospital.
don't mean that. I mean, where am I? Me, Miguel Rivera's. Where is my body? I can't feel. I can't see. What happened to me?
Now, Miguel, you must not be excited. What happened to you is, well, it will take quite a bit of explaining.
Quite a bit of explaining, I should think. What does one say exactly to a man who is no longer a man, but only a brain which is being kept functioning by sheerly artificial means? And for that, I'm afraid we shall have to wait until I return shortly with Act 3. It has been a long, careful, and repetitive task for Dr. Werner Dietar to explain the circumstances which have brought Miguel Rivera's back to life. If we may give a name to a brain without a body. So far, Miguel has contributed little to the conversation. Or, should we say, the last vestige of Miguel that is still extant. It is hard even to estimate just how much he has comprehended, until, for the first time, he speaks at length.
Padre nostro, que está en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nos.
What is he saying?
He is praying.
What is to become of him?
He can die if he wants. After.
After what?
After I get the money, huh? Miguel. Miguel.
What is it?
Do you feel... are you ready to tell us your story?
Why did you do this to me?
I had no choice. You were so severely damaged internally. Death was inevitable. The brain was all I could rescue.
Why didn't you just let me die?
In these modern times, it is a doctor's duty to do everything he can to maintain life.
Did you call the police?
Well, actually, no.
Why not?
Because they could not help you, and you could help me in a way that they would not have allowed.
by becoming one of your guinea pigs.
A most valuable one. A real guinea pig in the sense that the guinea is a golden coin.
What are you after, man?
When you jumped from that plane, you had with you $2 million, no?
What, yes. In small bills, not over 20.
But when Willie and I found you, there was no money.
Who is Willie?
My hired man, a general handyman. A little slow in the brain, but a magnificent physical specimen, and very useful to me.
Okay, I didn't ask for his life history.
I don't intend to give it to you. I am much too interested in that money. Now, where is it, Miguel?
No money.
What?
I mean, no deal. Where it is, that is my secret.
But I think you will tell me. I am sure you will.
What makes you so sure?
Oh, my dear Miguel, if we cannot agree, I have only to, how shall we say, pull the plug, and you cease to be.
Werner, you couldn't.
Oh, you won't get it out of me by threats, Doc. By me, you might as well pull the plug. What am I going to live for anyway?
Miguel, we can share.
What for? What could a human jellyfish floating in a bath of salt water use it for? Oh, wait a minute. I just thought of something. How about a deal?
A deal?
Yeah. If you're so clever that you could take my brain out of my body and keep it living, why can't you put it back in some other body? I mean, like one that is okay and keep both alive.
You mean create a real Frankenstein monster?
No monster, just a guy like I was.
Very well. Very well. It was merely a figure of speech, so to say, but where am I going to... Ah, yes, of course.
Werner, please, what are you thinking?
Willie. Why not? As a person, he is only half complete anyway. His brain is retarded. I would be doing both of them a favor.
Werner, you must be mad.
Don't say that word to me. And if I could accomplish this miracle, Miguel, what would your deal be?
Oh, anything you want, Doc. You just give me enough money to get across the border and get lost, and you can have anything you want.
Very well. Where is the money?
Oh, no. First, you make your monster, Doctor. Then comes the money.
But how can I trust you?
Me? The cards are all stacked against me. When I come out of this operation, I will be weak as a kitten. Only then I will want to live. You think I won't come clean then?
And supposing you do not come through?
I might as well be dead anyways. That is the chance you've got to take.
No, not good enough. I give you a better, what you say, deal. I will prepare Willie for the operation. You will be beside the table. And at the moment I prepare him to receive your brain, then you tell me where the money is.
Okay, Doc. You win. Then I will tell you.
I beg you, please, Werner, don't do this.
Ilsa, do not be a fool. I must. We are out of money. This is a godsend.
It is not a license for you to try to play God. This operation is impossible, even if we had the facilities and the resources, which we don't.
You are even more of a fool than I thought you. You don't suppose I'm going to attempt the operation? I know it can't be done. The important thing is to convince Miguel, that captive brain, that it can.
But he will not tell you till you have taken away Willie's brain.
So?
But that will kill him.
Willie is nothing. He is dispensable.
But that's murder.
In the name of science, Ilsa. And to save our own necks.
Oh, Doctor, I'm just not going to let you do it. I'm just not going
My
to.
dear woman, you should be thanking me. I'm going to make that man of yours a whole man.
Well, even if it would work, I wouldn't thank you for that.
Why?
Look at me, Doctor. I I ain't much. No education, and at the most you couldn't call me nothing but just a plain woman. I look in the glass, I know I'm a downright ugly one. But with Willie as he is, it's good enough. I can make him happy.
This is beginning to irritate me, Lucy.
Look, if there's no other way, I'll go to the police.
Do you think for a moment I would... Lucy, where did you get that gun?
It's Willie's, but I know how to use it if I have to.
No, isn't this silly, Lucy? You know my regard for Willie. Would I do anything to harm him in any way?
No, don't move! Oh, no!
Poor, foolish, ugly little woman. I did not mean your death, but I have practiced survival too long to let anything stop me now. Is Willie anesthetized?
Yes. What kept you?
I was just scrubbing up.
I couldn't leave Willie, but I thought I heard...
What?
Well, like far away, a gunshot.
A gunshot? Who has a gun? Oh, yes, some supplies came from town. Lucy is attending to them, and that old truck of Seth's backfired when he was leaving. Now, so, are we ready?
The patient is, but I am not.
Oh, Ilse, trust me. We have been through so much together, and this is our last chance.
What can I do? You're all I have left. Not even myself.
So, we commence. Scalpel.
Yes. Oh, yes, madam. Now, if you could just wait a minute and let me double check.
No time. I told you what I can't. Hurry.
No, don't hang up. Just let me get this straight. Oh. Hey, hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
What you got, Bill?
Oh, Chef, I hope to tell you the craziest darn pot of nonsense you ever heard.
About what?
The Rivera's case.
Well, anything you picked up on that, I want to hear. I don't give a hoot how plain damn foolish it is.
So, we make the cut.
No respiration.
Of course. Willie's body is now moribund.
Werner, this is wrong. So wrong.
It is all that is right for me anymore. So, Miguel, here is the moment of truth.
You mean my new body is ready?
Ready and waiting. The brain already removed. We have only seconds. The money.
See. You know the mesa of the Loving Sisters?
Yes.
Below over there is a canyon with the river of los Muertes.
Yes.
Rising to the mesa, there are three buttes. The one to the south, there, at the base, by the river, there is a cave where the trail ends. In that is the money. So, I have lived up to my part of the deal. Now you...
Oh, Miguel, trust me.
Where are you going, Werner?
I have turned off his hearing to check out the money. You keep him alive till I come back.
And Willie?
Willie was feeble-minded enough to risk his neck. Too bad it was chopped off.
Hey, doctor, Mrs. Neidhart, somebody...
Yes, Miguel. What?
Is the operation over?
Miguel, how can I tell you? There was no operation. Willie is dead. The doctor has only been cheating you.
And where is he now?
I'm beginning to realize cheating me, too. He's long gone with all the money.
Oh, no, there is no money.
What do you mean?
Oh, you see, I thought I once got two perfect eyes, two parachutes to cover all the extra weight of my guns and the money. But one of them failed. I was coming down too fast.
I had lost control of the landing I was heading for. I had overshot the desert, and I was in among the hills to try to save my life. At the last moment, 1,000 feet up, I let go the bag with the money, and somehow it opened, and the bills went raining down like snowflakes into the narrow gorge, into the river, to be swept away God knows where. Oh, no. There is no money, just as there is no Miguel.
Then why has my husband not come back?
Because I hope the police found him there. If they had found my parachute, they would have been waiting. Caramba, is it not wonderful? They could never have gotten him for my murder. But they will for poor Willie, or whatever his name is.
And his poor wife. I will go and let them in.
Bill, tell the boys to bring in the doctor. Okay, Mrs. Deedhart. Where's the other corpse?
Oh, in the laboratory there.
Yeah, there's the handyman. On the table. Oh. Lord, what kind of butcher? Oh, Bill, turn that damn radio off, will you? Just pull the plug. Place gives me the creeps. Oh, look at this, Bill.
What is it, Sheriff?
What must be? Must be the brain the poor murdered woman was babbling about on the phone.
That thing is a brain?
I reckon.
Don't look much alive by now.
It won't be. Not since you pulled out the plug.
Well, what do you mean?
When you pulled the plug, you stopped all the supportive measures which kept it alive.
You mean I killed it?
Exactly. Oh, come, young man, don't look so distressed. You have me safely guilty of 2 deliberate and merciless murders. How lucky you are. You committed a surely accidental and merciful one.
Dr. Werner Deethart and his wife were tried and convicted for the murders of Lucy and Willie Holland. She was sentenced to life imprisonment, he to the death penalty. I shall be back shortly. In the beginning, I promised you an unforgettable voyage to the islands of Kalea. Did you think I'd forgotten? Oh, no. You have just made that voyage. For this cluster of small islands exist only in the cortex of the brain. Our cast included Norman Rose, Bryna Rayburn, Leon Janney, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
The effect only lasts for an hour or so, but we can't be sure of it until we try it on a human. On the rats in the lab, it lasted 1 hour. Then, gradually, they reappeared. No worse for the experience.
Then it's not dangerous?
Not to the animals, but we've got to try it on a human to really find out, to get the subjective reactions. I mean, will I see myself, or will I look down and see nothing but space? How will I move? My body will still be there. I won't be able to walk through things like a ghost, or will I? These are the questions we have to answer with a human subject.
You.
Me.
You'll come out of it all right.
We hope and expect so. The effect has to wear off.
And if it doesn't?
You'll never see me again.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding program was broadcast with the permission of the Columbia Broadcasting System. Broadcast permission for the following program is made possible by the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Have you ever noticed, passing a man walking his dog in the street, how much they resemble each other? If you haven't, take a look next time. Somehow the leash becomes a sort of umbilical cord that establishes them as kin. I don't always find the same thing with women, perhaps because I don't always get as far as the other end of the leash. But men, it may be only my fancy. On the other hand, this fancy, in a way, is what this story is about.
Hey, whiskey boy, what's the matter? Oh, you, Bishop.
It's about time you got here, Bo.
I came as fast as I could. Never quite as quick as you, old long nose, always sniffing in the wind.
Chadsworth, what the devil's the matter with this flea-bitten hound?
Smarter than humans, the dog often is, sir. I'm sorry to bring these tidings, but the squire is...
No, dead. My God, wouldn't you know that whiskey would be the first to know? Or would he? Who was with him last, Chad?
Mr. Bishop.
By heaven, Bishop, you'd better hope two things.
What, my loving brother?
That father died naturally and that you're not his sole heir.
And if I should be?
We'll take that up, brother, when we get to it.
Our mystery drama, Every Dog Has His Day, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Court Benson. Old Rokesby Hall is long gone now. Even in the last century, or at least the latter half of it, the great Georgian mansion had fallen into ruin and decay. The broad latticed windows with their diamond-shaped panes broken, the cagework of the upper stories dirty and dilapidated, the somber, lifeless avenue that swept from the coach road under the giant elms to the hall itself, overgrown and choked with weeds. Before the Civil War, it had been one of Virginia's proudest landmarks, till the death of the old squire's wife.
You might say I came with the foundations of old Rokesby Hall. For on the death of his father, the squire left England behind him and took his new bride to the Americas and built this magnificent old house to welcome her here. Ah, those were the days. Never a one without the carriages passing by and the gentry leaving their cards, the balls, the hunting breakfasts, all the society of the New World I opened that front door for and welcomed in to meet and socialize with the squire and his lovely bride. But with her ladyship's death, it all changed. I remember the night she was buried as well as my own name.
Chadsworth, my light has gone out. Pour yourself a brandy and join me.
Oh, me, sir?
Oh, God's wounds, man, you're closer to me than all my family.
You have your sons?
My sons, neither of whom could quite break off their own affairs to mourn their mother's death. Bishop, since his province is the field of business, bartering, buying, and selling, And Beauregard too busy with wine, women, and nothing but debts, which I am heartily sick of paying. Pour that brandy, damn it. At least I won't drink alone.
Yes, very well, sir.
Now that the gout has hobbled me, Demi, if I've a friend left. Saving yourself an old whiskey there. Oh. Best dog I ever had. The only one left now that I've put by the horses, whiskey boy, By my eyes, Chadworth, he has more love and thought for me than either of those ungrateful pups I whelped. As of you. Oh, here's looking at you.
To your very good health, sir.
I doubt if I have much of that left.
Well, Squire Rokesby, what is it?
On the sideboard, little white pill.
Oh, you didn't tell me that Dr. Summers had prescribed for you. How many, sir?
Yeah, just one, and get me some more brandy.
No, Squire. You've had more than enough of that. Here's some water.
Water? The man wants to kill me.
Oh, the last thing I would do, sir.
Oh, no. Only two in the world I can trust. You, Chadsworth, and my old boy there.
I didn't know that the master had been seeing a doctor, so I was relieved when the first of his sons, Mr. Bishop, the older one, turned up the next morning. I put the matter of calling the doctor in his hands, but the first person he called wasn't a doctor, but a lawyer. Our nearest neighbor, Mr. William Tremaine.
Tremaine, don't try to push me over the edge yet. I'll hang on long enough to get a good long look at both those young jackanapes who can't wait to inherit Rokesby.
Bishop is here already, Sam, and anxious to see you.
Yes, I can imagine. But first he was careful to let my lawyer in, huh?
Now, Sam, you mustn't sell your sons short. Give them a chance to present their own case.
Oh, of course, Mr. Lawyer. They shall have their chance. Is Bo there, too?
Why, no. We are not sure he's received our messages yet.
Why, not even the thought of being able to win your fair Antoinette was enough to coax that rascal back.
I cannot answer for my daughter. I'm not sure which of your sons engages her deepest regard.
Well, if Bishop is waiting, I suppose I should see him.
Sam, may I speak as an old friend?
Better speak as my lawyer. You insist on my making a will, right? Why?
A matter of form.
I don't take it ill that you have a deep interest in this, Tremaine. As long as we both can remember, it was supposed that your daughter would marry one or other of my sons. And you still feel that way?
You know that the joining of our two families is the strongest way in this land of savages to ensure that the best of the breed...
spare me all that. What's important is which of my sons inherits how much and what, huh? That's what you'd like to have sewed up in a will.
As your lawyer, I feel it's what you should have sewed up in a will.
Well, I don't. Not till I take one good last measure of my sons. There isn't enough to leave for both. It has to be one or the other. The one who'll maintain Rokesby Hall as my wife loved it for as long as anyone can hope.
Very well. Still, some sort of document.
All right. Draw up your documents. And when I meet and judge my sons again, and I shall enter the name of both, or the one who best deserves it.
What the devil is the matter with that dog, Chadsworth?
Mr. Bishop, he misses his master. Being shut away from him, he dotes on the master, does old Whiskey.
Only wish he'd be a little less vocal about it.
Dogs are very strange, you know. Sometimes they have a sixth sense, like... maybe I'd better go into the squire.
No, don't be ridiculous. My father's perfectly all right. He wanted to rest, and I saw him off to sleep.
You wouldn't think he might be failing, Mr. Bishop?
Nonsense. Nothing could kill that old devil. Gout, apoplexy, heart. He'd laugh them all off. He just asked me to have you witness this and settled off to sleep like a baby.
Oh, witness what, sir?
Well, his signature, you can see. The ink isn't even dry.
What's the document, Mr. Bishop?
Heaven only knows. Anything from a rent, mortgage, to his will. He scribbled his signature and said to have you witness it along with the housekeeper, Mrs. Armbruster.
A little out of order, wouldn't you say, sir?
Yeah. I would, but then, since when has my father ever been either orderly or ordinary? Go wake him up and ask him if you want.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. He needs the rest.
Yeah. Then sign this and get Mrs. Armbruster, too. He particularly wanted it in shape before my brother arrived.
Very well.
Oh, damn that hound. But go ahead, Chadsworth.
Yes, sir. I will, sir. I suppose I might have questioned things more, but the thing is, when you have spent a life in service, you don't normally. And it was the master's signature, which I knew well enough. So I wrote my own name and got Mrs. Armbruster to add her scrawl, little thinking that by doing so, I was setting a match to the fuse for the terrible series of explosions to come. Better I had paid attention to Whiskey's warning howls than to the smooth and easy way of Mr. Bishop Rokesby, for a storm was on the way in the person of his younger brother, Beauregard.
Well, it's about time you got here, Beauregard.
Well, the stagecoach was late, Mr. Tremaine. And it isn't that serious with the old boy, is it?
Would you care?
Well, of course I would, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. For my daughter's sake?
I guess I'm a little out of my depth, Mr. Tremaine.
Well, then let me get you back to shallow water so you can put your feet on the ground. Was there not a kind of understanding between Toinette and you?
Oh, yes, sir, attendant upon my making my way and my fortune.
Which I take it you have not yet succeeded in doing.
Oh, I have great prospects, sir, many connections, and, well, frankly, a lot more debts than I can properly handle.
Well, at least you tell the truth. I'll answer in kind. If it weren't for Toinette's feelings, I wouldn't give a tinker's damn about you. If I had my way, I'd rather see her married to your brother.
To old Bish, that cold stick? Oh, not really, sir.
Now, don't you now really, sir, me. Your father is far from well. He may not recover from his last attacks. I hope for your sake he'll be conscious to give you a chance to renew an acquaintance which should never have been broken off.
Well, sir, if I'd had any idea the old man was...
If you had a brain in your head, you'd have stayed home to help him manage the property. But while you've been having your fling, your brother has had the good sense and the common decency to keep in touch with your father. Since the squire has been sick, he's been with him 24 hours a day. While it's taken you the better part of a week to bestir yourself and come home.
Mr. Tremaine, what are you trying to tell me?
I am your father's friend, his lawyer, and a prospective father-in-law to one of his sons.
One of us? You can't seriously consider Bishop to...
Your brother has been paying considerable attention to Toinette. You may be surprised to discover how she has bloomed in your absence.
And you favor his suit?
For myself, quite frankly, yes. I have more faith in Bishop's future.
I didn't hear Mr. Beauregard come home. The insistent, mournful wail of the hound had sent me running to the squire's room, a dreadful premonition clutching at me. So that when the front door bell rang, For all I hurried with my heart in my mouth, it was Mr. Bishop who got to the door first. Whiskey was all over Mr. Beauregard in a wild kind of desperate greeting, whimpering and snuffling and licking at his hands. And when he saw Mr. Bishop...
Hey, Whiskey boy, what's the matter? Oh, you, Bishop.
It's about time you got here, Bo.
I came as fast as I could. Never quite as quick as you, old long nose, always sniffing in the wind.
Chadsworth, what the devil's the matter with this flea-bitten hound?
Smarter than humans, the dog often is, sir. I'm sorry to bring these tidings, but the squire is...
No, dead. My God, wouldn't you know that Whiskey would be the first to know? Or would he? Who was with him last, Chad?
Why, Mr. Bishop.
By heaven, Bishop, you'd better hope two things.
What, my loving brother?
That father died naturally and that you're not his sole heir.
And if I should be?
We'll take that up, brother, when we get to it.
The two brothers face each other. The kind of raw hatred that can only be bred in family relationships, named and writhing between them. The dog is suddenly silent, his somber, brooding eyes measuring them both in turn. Now the brothers, Mr. Tremaine and Chadsby, go into the house, traversing the long hall and climbing the winding staircase to the squire's room. I will return with Act 2 in just a moment. When they came upon him in the bedroom, Squire Samuel Rokesby lay, half fallen, with the upper part of his body out of the great four-poster. His face was suffused with the livid blood of apoplexy, his hands crooked as if in some great battle against the angel of death. And what was most startling of all, his blue eyes wide, stark, and staring with a kind of terrible accusation. And his death was not an end, but a beginning.
Whiskey, poor old hound, was the first to announce the death. And outside of myself, as the next days passed, seemingly the only one to mourn the master's passing.
By heaven, I'll not suffer it. I'll take it to law.
Bo, I ask you to let us discuss this calmly.
Calmly? Calmly, is it? When my father, his face black and his tongue out gasping for air, quite obviously had help in leaving this world?
That's quite an accusation.
Oh, I do heartily agree. Prove it, brother mine.
The proof is on the table there amongst us.
Your father's will?
My father called me in and signed this document, which proved to be his will. At the time, I didn't know what it was. It was sealed with his signet ring.
Naming you as sole heir.
As you see.
Without this will, we would share the inheritance. Isn't that true, Mr. Tremaine?
If your father had died intestate, yes. Since it doesn't apply, there's only one will which appears to be valid.
Are you satisfied, brother?
No. Will you listen to that? I swear by all that's holy, we might all be ashamed. The squire is dead, and there's only one who really mourns him. But I warn you one thing, Bishop, if it's the last thing I do, I'll make sure you don't profit from his death.
Bo?
Yes, Toinette. I wasn't sure you'd be here.
I got your message.
It seems my brother's has been more urgent during the time I've been absent.
I didn't come here to quarrel.
Well, no more did I. But what's all this my father tells me about Bishop and you?
The families are friends. How would you have me treat him?
Like the black snake he is. There are two Rokesbys left, my brother and myself. All right, Toinette, which do you choose?
I didn't think your message suggested that this was why I meet you.
What did you expect to talk about with a Rokesby? Love instead of hate?
I thought the first was all that lay between us.
And so did I, till I came home so tardy. You know that I've been disinherited?
Well, Yes.
But it makes no difference to us.
Oh, please. It's different now.
It isn't when I see you again, Tonette, and touch you.
You never wrote.
I never write anyone.
We thought you were never coming back.
We?
Bish and... Well, I mean, Daddy and I, and Daddy felt that...
That I wasn't worth the powder to blow me to hell.
You don't have to be so violent.
Why not? We're a violent family, Tonette. Oh, don't let my brother's cold, tight control blind you to what he really is. Not all the money in the world could bring you a moment's peace with him. That's why I made this tryst. To tell you that he murdered my father. And to ask you to run away with me before it's too late for all of us.
Oh, what are you saying? You can't believe that, well, that Bishop killed you.
Of course I do. But prove it? That's something else again. So you won't come with me.
Bo, be fair, be reasonable. How can I?
All right, forget it, Toinette. You've made your choice. I thought I owed you one last chance.
Where are you going?
If I can't have you or Rokesby, by heaven, neither will Bishop.
Bo? Bo, what are you going to do?
Put a bullet in my brother and then another in myself.
You're mad. You can't kill Bishop.
I will unless he backs down, but you and I are through. All right, get away, boy. Get away, Whiskey, or I'll take my riding crop to you. Whiskey, will you let go of the stirrup leather? Damn you, this horse is skittish enough without...
He's rearing. Bo! Look out! Oh, no! Bo! Oh, Bo! Are you all right?
No. My leg, my back, I think broken. Help.
He was in a bad way, the poor young master. His back was broken, and his leg, and Lord only knows what damage to his innards from the horse stomping on him. For near a month he lay in a sort of half-world from all the morphine and laudanum for the pain, his wits wandering while his father was buried, and Master Bishop and Miss Antoinette announced their marriage. Mrs. Armbruster, the housekeeper, and I were his only nurses and only companions, save old Whiskey, who could not be kept out of the room, and an occasional visit from Squire Bishop.
Well, how's the living corpse today, Chadsworth?
Oh, about the same, sir. Although he does seem a little perkier.
That's dubious news. Oh, good Lord, what's that mangy hound doing in here?
We can't keep him out of here. Even with the doors and windows closed, he seems to be able to slip through some chink in the wall, so, well, I don't know. But he's better here. He keeps him quiet like.
Look at him. Look at him curl his lip at me. I don't like the dog any better than he does me. I ought to have you take him to the stables and shoot him.
Oh, hush now, old boy. You wouldn't do that, would you, sir? He was your father's boon companion and friend.
Get him out of here, Chadsworth. I'd like to have a word with my brother.
Yes, very well, sir. Come on, Whiskey. Lad, come on. Come on, old boy. Don't make me drag you. Got to obey the new master, you know.
Get him out.
Yes, sir. I'm doing that. There we go. Come on, then. Come on.
He doesn't like you, Bishop. He has good taste.
So, you're back in the land of the living again, hmm?
No, I'm not sure. Halfway. Someplace halfway back from where I've been.
Hmm? Where have you been?
Oh, the other side of the curtain, perhaps. I talked to Father.
You what?
That scares you a little, doesn't it, Bishop?
Why should it?
Aren't you afraid he might have told me how he died?
How he died from apoplexy, congestion of the blood and heart. What else?
What
my father told me. Would you like to hear?
Oh, I have no intention of listening to your delirium and your dreams.
Only you're going to, Bish. Not in my words, but in his own words. Our father's words. Your father's words.
No, Bishop. I must wait for Bo to come home. I promised Molly before she died that I would never let Rooksby Hall pass out of our family while I had any control over it. I want to lie beside her in the garden and keep it ours as long as it is humanly possible. Oh, God me with it.
Father, you could trust me to see that it stayed in family hands. The family fortune would prosper.
I wonder, Bishop, if we all worship different gods and yours is money.
If you should die intestate and the inheritance is split between us, the house would have to be sold.
No!
Yes, face it, Father. One of us must be in charge. Trust me, I'll take care of Bo. But the purse strings should be in my hand. Here, I have pen and ink. Sign the will.
You seem very anxious to help me to the grave.
I am anxious to see your affairs in order before you enter it.
No, I don't trust you.
My God, you hold back any longer and I will help you to the grave and make certain that Bo joins you there very shortly.
True colors at last, huh?
Make no mistake. I mean what I say.
And if I sign, you will keep the hall over and you will provide for Bo. See to it that the servants are home till they die. And my dog, man's best friend, they say, and at the last it has proved right. Whiskey, whiskey. You will protect old Whiskey, too.
I promise. I promise anything. Only sign.
Very well. Give me the pen. You'll need witnesses, you know.
Give me the paper. Not to what I am about to do.
No, my time is not yet. Miss, no.
You took the pillow and held it over his face until you choked the life from our father.
Good Lord. Every word. Every syllable. How could you know?
I told you I'd been beyond the curtain. I talked with Father.
Well, you'll have no chance to tell anyone else. I'll take care of that now.
How will you do it? The same way you did with Father?
Yes. There's no way to trace it and no one will stop me. The dog! How did he get back in here?
It doesn't matter. What does matter is he's going to stop you.
No, by heaven. Let go off my sleeve, Whiskey. Let go.
I told you he'd stop you.
All right. All right, only this time. Next time I'll have a gun. And I'll kill you both.
How did I know these things? Because Mr. Beauregard told me. And much, much more. Strange and hard to believe. And not of this world.
Curiouser and curiouser, as Alice said of Wonderland, are the turns and twists of this strange, brooding story of a house divided against itself. The disintegration of a family, a dead man, and a faithful dog. I'll return shortly with Act 3. Down through the years, King Lear's agonizing cry has echoed to haunt every parent's heart. How sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Certainly, no one could have more cause for lament than the late Squire Rokesby. one of whose sons has already hastened him to the grave, while the other, seeking his own selfish revenge, is about the task of raising him from it. We return to learn why, as Chadsworth, the old butler, hurries agitatedly into the room where Beauregard Rokesby lies helpless on the bed.
Are you all right, Master Beauregard?
What's wrong, Chad?
Oh, the way your brother went by me down the stairs, his face white and his eyes so wide and blank, I thought perhaps...
That I'd followed my father's example and left this baleful world? No. Not yet, Chad, not quite yet.
I don't understand. There's so much I don't understand. Whiskey, how did he get back in here? Mr. Bishop let him in.
Oh, not my brother, never him, the last two.
Then how did he get in this room? The door was closed when I left, taking him with me. And it was closed when I returned.
And still, he did return. No ordinary dog, wouldn't you say, Chad? I want you to leave us alone. There's a lot, I think, to be done, and very little time left to do it.
Now, Mr. Beauregard, the doctor
said... the doctor is long since out of this, as are Miss Toinette, her father. But not quite yet, my brother and myself and my father. Leave us alone a little, please, and trust me when I ring to tell you all that needs to be told.
I'll take the dog with me.
No, leave Whiskey behind.
Are you sure you're all right, Mr. Beauregard?
Right as I'll ever be. Goodbye, Chad. At least for now.
Goodbye, sir. I hope you know what's best.
I may not. But how about you, Whiskey? Or whoever you are.
Now, the rest you'll have to take on faith, as well as I can remember it. Some was what I saw, and most what I was told. But here's about how it went.
What is it, Whiskey boy? What? What? You want me to go with you somewhere? Well, you know I can't do that. I can't walk. What? All right. If you insist, I'll try.
Meanwhile, I was downstairs trying to cope with Mr. Bishop and Mr. and Miss Tremaine, who'd come to call.
Chadsworth! Chadsworth!
Yes, Mr. Bishop.
Where is the brandy? Curse it, we're out of brandy. Get some more. Haven't I told you to keep this bar stocked?
Begging your pardon, sir, but there's a bottle right here below.
Well, give it to me. No, you old fool. I'll open it myself. And get me my shotgun.
Your shotgun, sir?
I am going to take that mean speckled hound with his long, lugubrious face out to the barn and shoot him.
Whiskey? With a shotgun?
He's so treacherous, I don't want to take a chance on missing. And don't worry. I have a handgun to finish him off.
But, Mr. Bishop, your father's dog, kid.
When I get through with him, he'll be nobody's dog, and see who that is.
Yes, sir. Oh, I can see by the rig it's Mr. Tremaine and his daughter.
Oh, get rid of them. I don't want to see them now. And don't worry. I'll handle the guns myself.
Good evening, Mr. Tremaine and Miss Antoinette. Tonight is a bad night to be here.
Why?
Well, miss, it's just that things are at sixes and sevens, as you might say.
Is Mr. Bow worse?
I don't think there's been much change.
My daughter and I will wait in the sunroom, Chad. Please inform Mr. Bishop we're here.
Yes, sir. I'll do that right away, sir.
I don't believe we should have come tonight, Papa.
I don't believe that for one moment we should lose touch with the Rokesby family until you're one of them, Antoinette.
Daddy, really, must you be so open about it all?
Honey, when you're as stretched over a barrel as I am, a person has no shame. Only the determination to survive. And that has to go for both of us. You're not as young as you might be, and I'm so over-invested that I haven't any dowry to offer you.
Daddy, it's all right. We'll make out.
You can trust me, be sure of that. But, shh. Why, Bishop. Honey, were you just going to pass us right by and pay us no never mind?
Annette, forgive me. This is a bad evening. Things are a little out of hand.
Is there anything we can do to help?
Oh, I think not, sir. Nothing I can't handle by myself.
Well, then, please excuse us, Toinette.
You're sure there's nothing? I mean, is it Beau? Is he worse?
He's not well, my darling, not well. I think he's not long for this world. He's in a wild delirium at the moment.
Well, have you sent for the doctor?
Yes, and for the priest. I think he'll need more of the second. And now, please, forgive me. I must attend to my brother.
Oh, yes, of course, Bishop, son. Don't worry about us. We can let ourselves out.
But I had seen something that the Tremaines had not. The gun that Master Bishop was carrying, hidden inside his coat. And now I stopped him at the foot of the stairs.
Out of my way, Chadsworth.
No, Mr. Bishop, please. In the name of heaven, hasn't enough misfortune come to this house? Leave the poor dog alone.
Do you want to die with him, Chad? And my brother?
No, sir, but I...
Then step aside.
No, sir.
What?
I cannot shut my eyes to murder anymore. Before I let you harm an innocent beast and Mr. Beauregard, who cannot defend himself, I'll raise the countryside.
Why, you...
Help! Help! Mr. Tremaine! Help! I lay unconscious till the shot awoke me. And yet, somehow, I seemed to step out of myself, to be a witness of all the things which could not have happened, and yet did. I could see Mr. Bishop stop at the bottom of the stairs, staring in incredulous disbelief as Mr. Beau, Whiskey, tugging at his nightshirt and leading him, a man paralyzed and unable even to stand, across the upper landing and through the door to the squire's room. And then, somehow, as if picked up by the wind, I was behind Mr. Bishop as he raced up the stairs, taking out the gun. I was watching the drama in the squire's old bedroom. Mr. Beau had unscrewed one of the big knobs of the four-poster bed and drawn from a hollow place there a document which he was reading, while Whiskey lay on the bed, as he often did with the old master, watching him and licking his lips.
What do you have there, Beau?
Something Whiskey led me to. The real will, Bishop.
What do you mean, the real will?
One that our father had drawn and validated before we ever came home. And would you like to know who the real heir was? Whiskey there, with Chadsworth named as his guardian.
That would never hold up in a court.
Oh, wouldn't it? I wonder. Chadsworth didn't really see Father sign your will, and I doubt if he'd support you once he knew Father's real wishes. He knows just as well as the squire did we're neither of us worth a damn.
It doesn't matter. It's all beside the point. Because that one's going to be destroyed. Give it to me.
Oh, no, Bishop. A little late, but this is one wish I can grant my father.
Give it to me, cripple, or I'll take it from you.
Try it.
I'll have it. If I have to put a bullet through you, hand it over or I'll shoot. My wrist! Oh, no. Whiskey made me shoot myself. I never thought it would be like this.
Before my time, you took me. Now I take you in the same way.
Father. No. Father Beau's no better. He'd have sold the house from under you just as soon as I would. Why didn't you take him too?
Tell him, Beau.
He didn't have to. You see,
I'm already dead.
As I said, the shot brought me awake. But by the time I got to the room, it was empty, save for Mr. Bishop lying dead on the floor with a bullet through his heart and the will, the real will, in his hand.
Shocking thing, really. Shocking. Bishop, you think actually committed suicide because he murdered his father?
That's the way it would appear, sir.
Well, and there's absolutely no question about this will being valid. Well, you'll be a rich man, Chadsworth.
It's all been a few years past now, and we're both a bit grayer and a little nearer the end of it all. But they've been pleasant enough years for all the sad memories. Whiskey and me sitting here by the fire of a night, my look across at him in the squire's wing chair, and I wonder if it's a trick of my old eyes. But moment by moment, day by day, year by year, that long hound's face with the jowls and the sad, wise old eyes grows more and more like the master, till when the fire burns low and the candles wane, I could swear he sits there and nods at me and winks and says,
Not the best way to end, perhaps, Chad. But at least there's been the satisfaction of knowing that the old dog had his day, after all.
If a man and his dog live together long enough, and you believe my fantasy that I stated in the beginning, do you suppose a man and his dog could change ends of the leash and no one would notice the difference? I'll be back shortly. Looking in some old records, I found that a Thomas Chadsworth, the last resident of Rokesby Hall, lived to be 93. There's no mention of how many years Whiskey lived, but there is a note to the effect that the day the old man died, his dog, an old gray speckled hound, went to his long last sleep as if in sympathy. I wonder if they're buried in the garden beside the squire and his wife. Our cast included Court Benson, Russell Horton, Morgan Fairchild, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding program was broadcast with the permission of the Columbia Broadcasting System. Broadcast permission for the following program is made possible by the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. If we know anything at all, it's the fact that we probably don't know anything. In medicine, yesterday's cure can become today's killer. In life, yesterday's villain can become today's hero. What can you depend on? Whom can you trust? Yourself? Who are you? What are you? Follow these questions to their logical conclusion, and you may get the shock of your life.
Would you please tell the court, what do you do for a living?
I'm unemployed.
And what is your profession, your trade? Isn't it a fact that you live by picking up lonesome middle-aged women, take them home, and then rob them?
No, that's a
You're
lie.
also able to blackmail them.
It's not true.
Unfortunately, in this case, Mrs. Wilson's husband came home unexpectedly.
No.
And you had to kill him.
Now, look, I'm being framed. Can't you see that, Your Honor? I'm being framed.
The state rests.
Our mystery drama, Lovers and Killers, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Robert Dryden. Nothing, said Benjamin Franklin, is certain but death and taxes. Of all the founding fathers, he was the wisest. But he should have known better. It's all very well to nod wisely, take a philosophical pull at one's pipe, and to compare truth to a quicksilver that can never quite be grasped. But there are, unfortunately, basic truths and complete certainties which have to be arrived at, especially if you are required to decide the question of life or death.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have heard the charge. You will now retire to consider your verdict.
As foreman, it's my suggestion we begin by taking a vote and see how we stand. Now, to just write down on a piece of paper, innocent or guilty, and pass them up here. Now, let's see. I've got 3 innocents, 3 guilties, 6 don't knows. Well, I guess we got to talk about it. We'll go in order. I'm juror number 1, but I'm foreman, so we'll start with juror number 2. That's you, Mr. Miller. What would you like to say?
What would I like to say? I'd like to say goodbye. That's what I'd like to say. Goodbye, farewell, adios, so long. What am I doing here? Where do I come off being on a jury? Who needed this? I'm a chump. That's what I am.
Mr. Miller, what do you think?
I pass. So the vote's 3-3, 6 undecided. I'll wait to see which way it goes. Do I vote guilty? The guy can get life. Maybe the chair. And suppose he's innocent. What if I vote innocent? He goes free. And what if he really is guilty? I don't need this. Vicky, I just don't need this.
Yes, you do, David.
I need this like I need a case of jaundice.
Oh.
Vicky, I don't want any part of jury duty.
Why not?
I don't have the time. I'm going to get out of it.
David, it's your duty as a citizen.
Oh, hold it. I'll put on a record of the Star-Spangled Banner.
David, listen.
Hello, Chuck? Yeah. Listen, Chuck, do me a favor. You got all the connections in the world, and I got a summons for jury duty. Now, how do I kill it?
David.
What? What do you mean it can't be fixed? Everything can be... All right. Okay, look, you'll have me in tears. Yeah, sure. Bye. He says I've got to get out of it myself.
David, tell me why.
Oh, for crying out loud. Do I have to explain it to you? This court where I have to report, they try murder cases. I could get stuck for weeks, months.
Look, David, I'm going to say this once. Each of us is something more than what he does for a living. Each of us is part of something that's more important than any of us. Part of a society. And we have to pay our dues to that society.
Hey, word for word, the second act curtain speech you did in Lovers and Killers.
Oh.
Honey, you can still get that dark, rich quality in your voice. Come on back. Do a play.
I won't say another word.
Vicky, I just can't spare the time.
You can get out of it, all right? When they question you, you can say you've been influenced one way or another. 100 things. You can get out of it.
And, baby, I will.
Oh, but please, David, don't. Oh, honey, there's things that all of us simply have to do. Or nothing will matter anymore.
David Michael Miller. El Chumpo. That's me. On account of her, I played it straight. 20 years an actor's actor. Now I have a chance to make a fortune, something brand new, a singing act, a booking in Las Vegas. And where am I? In a jury room. I ask you, is that fair?
Why don't we all take a break and relax over a cup of coffee?
I don't know.
Dave Miller?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you on the QT. Dave, last vote was 6-5, one undecided. That's you.
I know.
Now, you can decide here and now how long this trial's gonna run.
Me?
Yeah. It's a funny thing. It's all psychological. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, if you make it 7-5, we'll have a majority. And more important, a majority philosophy. See what I mean? A couple of the fives could have gone either way. Now, when they see a wind blowing steady in one direction, we could be 8-4, 9-3, even 10-2 by supper time. Tomorrow morning, we could wind it up. You see?
Yeah.
You know. Now, on the other hand, you make it 6-6. You could establish a deadlock philosophy. People get hardened in their attitudes, and we can be here forever. You want that to happen?
No.
The first thing you got to realize, you got to move off the undecided.
Yeah, I realize that.
You got to get off the fence, you know. Now, the defendant, is he guilty or innocent? What do you really think?
What do I really think? I don't know what I think.
Well, you go through that transcript again. You got to make up your mind. Maybe it can be changed later, but you got to come to some decision.
Okay, I'll try to figure it out somehow. Maybe if I go through it all over again.
Tell the court your full name.
Richard Frederick Lenz.
You're a police officer attached to the North Precinct?
Yes, sir, I am.
And can you tell us where you were at 11 p.m. on the night of the 24th?
Yes, sir. I was driving a squad car on regular patrol. I received a radio message to proceed immediately to 81 Brentwood Lane. There was a report of a fight in progress.
How far were you from that address when the message arrived?
Less than 2 minutes. I pulled up, got out of the car, and I heard a shot.
Open it! I'm a police officer! Open the door! It's the police! Open the door!
The back way! He's running out the back way!
You there! Halt! Stop! That's a warning now! Freeze! That's it. Now just keep your hands up high and don't move.
And who was that man?
The defendant there.
Howard Ingleside?
Yes, sir.
And he had the gun.
Look, I admit I had the gun. I was so confused. I didn't realize.
Mr. Ingleside, I must ask you to remain silent.
Your Honor, I never denied I had the gun.
You will have your turn. Continue, Mr. District Attorney.
What did you do then, officer?
I brought him back inside the house. The victim, Mr. Wilson, was lying on the floor, dead. And Mrs. Wilson, she must have fainted because she was on the floor, too.
And that's exactly what happened?
Yes, sir. That's what you'll find in my report.
Well, thank you, Officer Lenz. The people called Mrs. Mara Wilson. Mrs. Wilson, what happened the night of the 24th?
Oh, please, I find it so hard to talk.
Yes, we realize that, Mrs. Wilson. We know it's difficult, but it's necessary. We shall be as brief as possible. The night of the 24th.
The night of the 24th. That night, I was alone in the house, and I wasn't accustomed... Well, you see, Gerald, my husband, my late husband, he'd never leave me alone because I'm frightened. I can't help it. I'm a person whom everything frightens. I've always been that way. Maybe it's a sickness, but I just have to live with it. Well, I was sitting in the living room, reading, and I thought I heard... I thought my heart would stop. I was so frightened. It was a noise, but I thought I'd have to scream or call for the police, but suddenly the phone rang. Hello?
Myra?
Oh, Gerald. Oh, Gerald, darling.
Myra, what is it?
There's someone in the house.
Myra, are you sure? Are you sure it's not your imagination?
Oh, I don't know.
Now, don't be frightened.
I'll try.
Look, this was an extremely important meeting.
Oh, I understand.
And it's just winding up. I'll be through here in a little while. Darling, you're just going to have to learn to cope.
Yes.
Why don't you listen to some music?
Yes, dear.
Really, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yes, Gerald.
Goodbye, darling. I'll be home before you know it.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Gerald's right. He's right. I've just simply got to get home. Who's there? Who's there? Who? There's no one here. It's the roof. It's the wind. Who are you?
Shut up. Shut up.
Who are you?
Get away from that phone.
Please. Who are you? What do you want? Don't hurt me.
Shut up. Look, let's turn this on. Play some music. There you are now. Just relax.
Please, we have no money in the house. I have my purse here. Here's $20. Just take it. I don't have any jewels or anything.
Just shut up, please.
Do you want silver? We have silver. We have a sterling silver service for 8, and it's hardly ever been used. Take it.
No, I don't want your silver.
Oh, then what do you want?
I want you to come over here, huh? No. Baby?
No, you don't want me. You would want me. I'm a middle-aged woman.
I said come here.
No. Oh, don't kill me. Please.
I don't want to kill you, baby.
I'll die of shame.
Will you calm down?
Please.
Relax.
My husband, he's on his way home. He carries a gun. He'll kill you.
Nothing to be scared of.
If he finds you here, he'll kill you. So get away. Please, get away.
Will you shut up?
Let
go of her.
Gerald. He was going to...
I'll kill him.
Look out, Gerald. Be careful.
Drop that gun, buddy. Drop it. Help me, Myra. Help me. Now we'll see who killed... Oh! I'm...
Don't kill him. Don't kill him.
Open up. Open up. It's a police officer.
You killed him. You killed him.
Open the door. It's the police.
Oh, my husband has been murdered.
And then, Mrs. Wilson?
He ran out the back, and I screamed, and That's all I know.
But she is lying. That's not how it happened. Your Honor, I didn't break into the house.
You will have your turn on the stand.
Your Honor, she picked me up in a bar near where they live.
Order!
Yes, indeed. Order. And what order of proceedings are taking place here? Do you see where this is going? Well, that's why we have courts of law and trials and testimony to establish the truth. Truth. Keep that concept uppermost, and I shall return shortly with Act Two. Justice, it is said, is truth in action. Well, we're in the right place. We're in a court of law where a man is being tried for murder, and we're seeing it all through the eyes of juror number 2, Mr. David Michael Miller. The problem is, although he's looking very hard, he can't be sure of what he's seeing.
Miss Wilson, prior to the time the defendant broke into your home, had you ever seen him before?
Him? That man?
Yes, Miss Wilson, that man seated at the table. The defendant, Howard Ingleside.
No, I never saw him before in my life.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. We can all appreciate how difficult this must be. I have no further questions.
Dave Miller?
Yeah.
Dave, I think it's time we had another vote, but,
What?
Well, I've been sounding out the others. It's still 6-5, so unless you're willing to move off dead center, there's no use.
Mr. Foreman, I just started reading this transcript again, and, well, why don't you have everyone read it through again?
All right, Dave. Nobody's pushing you at this time.
Why don't I vote one way or the other? Everybody's looking at me, waiting for me. If I vote, no matter how, I can break this jam. We can be out of here in a day, 2 days tops. Why don't I vote? Because I don't know how to vote. I just went over her story again. Let me go over his story again.
I just happened to stop in at this bar. It was kind of crowded, you know. And, I saw her. That is, I saw a girl sitting all the way over at the end of the bar. She gave me the eye, so I moved in. When I got close up, I saw maybe she wasn't such a girl, but good-looking enough. The kind that's out for a little fun, you know. So I said, hi.
Hi yourself.
What do you say to a little drink?
Hello, little drink.
Ooh. You know all the answers.
You know all the questions.
Come in here often?
First time.
First time for me, too. Bartender, same way again. What's your name?
Myra.
Miss Myra or Mrs.?
Ms.
Call me Howard.
Howard. Myra and Howard. That would be a new combo. We've had John and Mary and George and Martha and now Howard and Myra.
It's got a kind of a ring to it.
What do you do, Howard?
Nothing.
Oh, I see you go to bars and pick up lonely, middle-aged ladies.
Beats going on welfare. Besides, you don't look so middle-aged.
You know what Ben Franklin said, always make love to an older woman. She'll be so grateful.
Really? Did Ben Franklin say that?
Oh, could have been H.L. Mencken or Voltaire. Have you ever read anything by Voltaire?
No.
Ever read anything by anybody?
Not an awful lot.
Oh, good-looking fella like you.
You should have gone to college. You might have gone far.
Oh, I did go to college. I went there to play football.
Oh, and were you a hero?
Didn't get the chance. See, I broke a leg. It was never the same afterwards.
Oh, and then what did you do?
Hitch in the Marines.
And after that?
I took this job, picking up lonely middle-aged ladies in saloons.
What do you think of this place?
It's crowded.
Noisy.
I think the guy cuts the booze.
We deserve better.
What you have in mind?
Come with me. How's this?
Whoa, nice layouts.
You like classical music?
Whatever turns you on, baby.
Here, drink up.
You, live here alone?
Mm-mm. Friend husband.
Oh, and where is friend husband this evening?
Portland.
Maine or Oregon?
He told me, but I forgot.
Well, they're both about the same distance from here.
Well, here's to Portland.
And here's to us.
Come over here.
Meet me halfway.
Let's take it from there.
And, friend husband?
Not due till Friday night.
That's 3 days from now.
Or maybe Saturday. I forget which.
I just hate to have him walk in, you know?
You could break friend husband in half.
That's not the point.
Oh, but it is the point. Oh, yes, indeed. It's very much the point. You see, what I'm stuck with is Melvin W. Milquetoast. I was very young when I married friend husband.
Honey, I can see a crying Jack coming on.
I was in college, and he was rich. Very rich.
Yeah, baby, why don't we just leave him in Portland?
My mama said to me, "Dear, you'll have everything your heart desires. Money, clothes, beautiful house, servants."
Yeah, servants. Incidentally, where are they? Servants.
Maid's night out. She and I both take Thursdays off. I don't know where she goes. And I can tell you, she doesn't know where I go.
Well, bottoms up.
You know who I am?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Myra Wilson. I'm Mrs. Gerald Prescott Wilson. I am the president of the United League. I am the secretary of the Willard County Poetry Society. You know I write poetry?
Is that a fact?
I am very active in every imaginable community project. And do you know why?
Why?
It's his fault. No, it's not his fault. He can't help himself. It's my mother's fault. My mother convinced me to marry him, and after I did, I said to her, "Mama, there's no excitement with him."
Yeah, I know
and
what
Mama
you mean.
she said that sort of thing isn't really very important. Oh, I need a drink.
Hey, baby, you may have had enough.
Howard, please believe me.
I believe you, baby.
No, you don't. I haven't told you anything yet.
You've told me everything. Friend husband isn't exciting, so what can you do for excitement? You have to take it where you find it, right?
But I'm not like other women who sit around in a bar.
Oh, of course not.
Don't make fun of me, Howard. Why did he marry me if he wasn't interested? If he didn't care about that?
But, baby, why did you stay with him?
Well, that's a good question. But what else is there for me to do? Get a job. But at what? You know what it is to be my age and unmarried? No, at least this way I'm Mrs. Somebody. Howard.
Hmm?
Howard, could you love me?
Honey, I can give you references. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Oh, no, I mean love me, Howard. I don't mean just tonight. Oh, Howard, I need somebody. I need somebody so badly.
Sure, baby, sure.
Hold me in your arms.
Of course.
Am I attractive?
Oh, baby, you're beautiful.
Am I desirable?
You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say another word.
Howard, let me confess something to you.
Later,
This
baby.
is the first time I ever...
It doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters. I've gone to bars, you know, every Thursday night, and I'd sit there. But this is the first time I ever brought anyone home.
Sure, I understand that.
Howard Oak, love me. Love me.
What the devil is this?
Jerry.
Jerry.
Hey, ain't you supposed to be in Portland?
Gerald, this is,
This is you. This is up to your old tricks.
Well, folks, three's a crowd.
I decided not to go to the convention.
Yeah, see you folks around.
Oh, no, Howard, don't go.
Don't go.
You'll kill me.
Well, sure, but I
Please,
can't really...
Please, Howard, don't
Young
go.
man, I don't know who you are, and it doesn't make any difference. I have nothing against you. You could have been anyone. It isn't your fault. I don't even blame you.
That's pretty broad-minded.
I must ask you to leave.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Well, good night.
Please, don't let him kill
look,
me.
he's not going to
He
kill
will.
you. No,
He
you'll
will.
be
He
okay.
said he would. He said the next time.
The next time? What? You mean he's come home unexpected from Portland before?
Young man, leave this house at
No,
once.
please, Howard, help me.
If you want to watch this.
Watch
Watch me shoot my wife.
In that drawer, he keeps a gun. Gerald,
Hey!
please.
Well, young man.
Look, mister, hey, one of those things can go off and kill people, you know?
Yes, of course.
Don't, Howard. I don't want to die.
Look, mister,
Stay here.
we ought to talk it over,
What?
right?
Talk what over? She's trash and you know it.
Well, still,
Don't,
no,
Gerald, please don't.
You deserve it.
I'll never do it again.
Oh, I've heard
never,
that before.
Never.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm glad. I'm finally doing what has to be done.
Gerald, you'll be so proud of
There's
me.
a law,
I'll be
my dear
good.
Myra, against adultery. A law. And how many times have you broken it?
Well, as far as that goes, Jerry, you know, there's a law against murder.
Keep out of this.
Please,
Mister, you're not
listen
going to
to
kill
him,
her.
Jerry, please.
Young man, you don't know what she's done.
It doesn't matter what she's done. You've never killed anybody. You don't know what it is.
That's enough.
Listen to him.
You'll have nightmares all your life. I don't care.
I'll change. I promise you. You'll see. We'll have a wonderful life together. I'll be someone absolutely different.
It's too late,
Please,
Myra.
Jerry,
This guy is
please.
crazy. He's
Stand back.
Will you put down that gun?
Don't make me kill you, too.
Put it down.
No, don't kill him. Don't kill him.
Open it. I'm a police officer.
You killed him. My husband's been murdered.
Open the door. Well, what do you mean? I didn't murder anybody.
Murderer.
Listen, I had to do this to save your life.
Murderer.
Well, I am getting out of here.
The back way. He's running out the back way.
Well, we've heard the last scene told 3 times. Once by the police officer, once by Myra Wilson, and now by Howard Ingleside. Everyone who has seen it differently. How did you see it? Someone is telling the truth. But who? I'll be back with Act 3 in just a few moments. You know the ancient story of the blind men and the elephant? Well, this is not an elephant. It's a murder case. And the people are considering the facts in evidence. And all of them can see. But what are they looking at? Where is the truth? What is the truth? Can truth even exist?
And so, Mr. Ingleside, you'd have this court believe that you picked Mrs. Wilson up in a bar and she invited you to her home.
That's what happened.
The bartender testified that he cannot remember seeing you or Mrs. Wilson that night.
Well, look, the place was jammed. I'm not a regular. How could he remember me?
Well, then really all we have is your own word. Your word against Mrs. Wilson.
Well, my word's as good as hers.
Is it? I wonder. That's for the jury to decide.
Dave, you finished rereading all the testimony?
I guess so.
You ready to vote?
No.
Well, then you better be ready to argue.
Argue. There were those who said innocent and those who said guilty. But I couldn't say anything. So I had everybody on my back.
Who are you going to believe? A woman who's respectable, who doesn't have so much as a whisper of scandal about her?
I didn't say she was lying.
Let me finish. A woman who plays around. You don't keep it quiet. Somebody knows there's talk. There has to be. Now, nobody can prove Mrs. Wilson was ever anything than an honest, decent person. But on the other hand, who's the man? A bum.
Well, now, just hold on. Who says he's a bum?
He does. He admits to preying on women.
Well, he's not preying on women. He's only offering a certain service women are willing to pay for.
And that doesn't make him a bum.
Well, even if it does, that's not what he's being tried
Now,
for.
let me tell you what happened. He broke. He was prowling around this wealthy neighborhood. He saw a chance to steal something. So he managed to get into the house. But when he saw her, she aroused him.
How do you know? Were you there?
Nobody was there. We got the evidence.
What evidence? Here you have a sex-starved lady?
Just because he says so?
That's how the arguments went. He said, she said. There were 12 of us in that room. 11 had already decided one way or the other. But I could tell no one was really married to his decision. Somehow, everyone had turned to me. I was the undecided one. For some reason, they believed that when I would finally make up my mind, that would be the right decision. What was I doing here, anyhow? I told Vicky, I told her, damn it, I don't know enough to be on a jury.
David, what do you have to know?
Well, something about law and rules of evidence, that sort of stuff.
No, the lawyers worry about that. The lawyers and the judge. You only have to decide who's telling the truth.
But I'm not qualified to do that.
Oh, you're as qualified as anybody else.
Vicky, I still say I ought to get out of this thing.
All right, go ahead. But I warn you, David, don't you ever complain to me about anything for the rest of your life, about justice, the courts, politics, the government.
Okay, don't make a production out of it.
It is a production, the most important production we have.
I said I would do it. And I did. What do I do now? There was a lot of legal gobbledygook, motions, objections, opinions, rulings. Well, that was all for the lawyers. Vicky was right. All we had to do was decide who was telling the truth. And I couldn't do anything. When I listened to Myra Wilson, I believed her.
I was alone in the house, and I thought I heard a... Who are you?
Shut up.
Don't hurt me.
Calm down.
Do you want silver? We have silver.
Come over here.
No, you don't want me. Why would you want me? I'm a middle-aged woman. Don't kill me.
I don't want to kill you.
Die. I'll die of shame. Let me go.
And when I listened to Howard Ingleside, I believed him.
What's your name?
Myra.
Call me Howard.
Howard.
Mm.
Myra and Howard. That would be a new combo. John and Mary. George and Martha. Now, Myra and Howard.
It's got a kind of a ring to it.
What do you do, Howard?
Nothing.
You go to bars and pick up lonely middle-aged ladies?
Beats going on relief.
Always make love to an older woman. She'll be so grateful.
And just as I'd start believing him, I'd see her face again on the stand. The terror, as she described.
Let me go. Let me go.
Calm down,
Please.
baby.
My husband, he's on his way home. He carries a gun.
Take it easy,
If he finds you here, he'll kill you.
Now, hold
Oh, no.
And just as I thought she had me, I remembered the look on his face, the tone in his voice.
Where's friend husband?
Portland.
Maine or Oregon?
They're both the same distance from here.
I'd hate to have friend husband walk in, you know.
You could break friend husband in half. I'm married to Melvin W. Milquetoast. Oh, Howard, could you love me?
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Love me, Howard. Love me.
And that's how it went. Back and forth, back and forth. In a crazy kind of way, I knew something like this could very likely happen. I'd even mentioned it to Vicky. It was my last shot before leaving home that day. Vicky, let me tell you why I don't want to be on a jury. Really.
Really? All right, darling. Tell me really.
It's because I'm a sucker.
You can be called many things, but certainly not sucker.
No, what I mean is, I'm a sucker for a good performance. You know me. I sit in a theater and someone up on that stage...
You won't be in a theater. You'll be in a courtroom.
Well, it's the same thing. I never listen to what they're saying, only to how they say it.
David. You know as well as I do. The performance has to have truth, or else it just doesn't work.
Ah, you can believe that.
I do.
Well, we disagree.
Maybe. But if you believed it, it would open up new horizons to your acting career.
Now, look, let's not get off into that.
Oh, darling, it's part of the same thing. How extremely qualified you are to be a juror.
What makes me qualified?
Look, let me put it on your terms. You just said a courtroom is like a theater, right? All right, now let's assume that's true. Then the trial is a play. The judge, the lawyers, the witnesses, the accuser, the accused, all of them are actors. Oh, honey, trust your instinct.
What instinct?
Your theatrical instinct. No one has a better one. Who has your ability to examine a play and spot the flaws, huh?
No, wait a minute. You make it sound too pat.
Every word spoken at that trial will be recorded. It'll be on a transcript. Transcript. The second part of that word is script. When the performances confuse you, look at the script. Analyze the script. Oh, come on, darling. Nobody's ever fooled you.
You know something? You're going to sell me yet.
David, do it. You need it for a selfish reason.
Yeah?
Yes. For years now. Well, you've lived in the world of artificial drama. Get some new experiences and get them firsthand. Take a part in a real play.
Wow, when you get wound up.
Oh, you'll thank me, David. You'll see.
But it was not a real play. That is, a real play on the stage. Because a real play on the stage is a work of art. And you know all about art. You yourself told me every great work of art has a tiny flaw. Something to contrast with that perfection. Something that lets you grasp it. It isn't here, Vicky. It isn't here. Sure, I know my theater inside out. All theater begins as a mystery, and every play still has a mystery at the heart of it. When you see a good murder play in the theater, the playwright gives you clues. If you watch it carefully, this beautiful piece of tapestry, you can spot the seam. Where and how it was all put together. But here, there is no flaw, no seam. There are 12 of us, and none of us can find it.
That's not true, Dave. We have people here who've made up their minds. You're the only undecided.
Made up their minds on the basis of what?
The evidence.
What evidence? The same evidence has called for 2 different conclusions.
Dave, we have to come to a conclusion. What is it? Are you scared to take a position?
I've been through this transcript.
Oh, well, I know.
Not just once.
Yeah, you can say that again.
There are thousands and thousands of words here. But you know what it all rests on? The last 3 lines of dialogue, when the district attorney wound up his cross-examination of Howard Ingleside. It was his word against Mrs. Wilson's.
That's what it comes down to. That's what everything comes down to. So, how are you going to vote, Dave? You'll swing this jury.
How? If everybody already believes
Because your belief is stronger.
Why? How do you know?
I can feel it.
You're crazy.
Dave, there's really no evidence. In most murder cases, unless witnesses actually have seen the fellow do it, it all becomes a matter of who tells the better story. Oh, sure, the rest of us, all 11 of us, have decided for or against. You know why?
No. You tell me.
Because of our prejudices. Who we are, how we think, what we would like to be true.
And what do you really think, Mr. Foreman?
I think Howard's telling the truth.
Why?
Maybe I don't care for the look in Mrs. Wilson's eye. Maybe because my son was in the Marines. Maybe because... Well, I wish I were his age again. Picking up women.
And that's why he's innocent?
For me. You know why he's guilty for Mrs. Perkins?
I heard what she said. Mrs. Wilson's spotless reputation.
Did you watch her face during the trial? She kept looking at the defendant with... it was fear. Maybe disgust in her eyes. What was she thinking of? Dave, get us out of here. We believe you. We trust you. We don't know either. We need a leader.
You're the leader.
I'm just a foreman. You're the leader. We trust you.
Why?
Beats me, Dave. But we need your vote. Decide. One way or another.
Suppose I say he's guilty. Suppose I believe it.
We could accept that.
And what if later it should turn out he was innocent?
If that's what's bothering you, vote to acquit him.
No. That'd mean I voted for it because I was scared.
Well, then let's find him guilty.
Oh, what a way to administer justice.
Dave, is there a better way?
The truth is, I just don't know.
You want this thing to end in a hung jury? They'll only have to do it again.
Okay, that's the way out.
In other words, you don't have the guts.
It isn't that.
You have a war record. You went. Maybe you didn't like the idea of it, but you went. You did what you had to do.
But it's not the same thing.
Right now, deep down, way down in your heart, you know what you believe. Don't you? Well, Dave, people have to stand up and be counted.
Yeah. You have to stand up and be counted.
Okay. And that's all we need. You want me to call for the vote? Dave?
Yeah. You can call for a vote.
And they voted. And by the end of the day, they were unanimous. And they returned to the courtroom with their verdict. And what was the verdict? Well, what was your verdict? You know everything they knew. You were the rest of the jury. How did you vote? Whichever way, be sure to vote for me, for I shall return shortly. One person, and only one person, knew the truth. And he was Gerald Wilson. But he was dead. Therefore, we will never really know, will we? But think of so many of the great trials and vital matters of public dispute during the recent past. Is everyone satisfied with the endings? Don't most of us keep asking, did he or didn't he? Was she or wasn't she? Maybe the truth is like quicksilver, elusive, mysterious, impossible to hold. Our cast included Robert Dryden, Russell Horton, Marion Seldes, Evie Juster, and Robert Maxwell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding program was broadcast with the permission of the Columbia Broadcasting System.